Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman. Joining me today, my co-host, my tag team partner, the Hall of Famer, Bryan Williams. Bryan, what's going on, brother?
What's up, dog? Man, again, I said it last week. I'm going to keep saying it. You do the best introductions in the podcast game, homie. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you, Bryan. This is part 7, the series finale, the last dance, so to speak, for Michael Jordan here. This is something wonderful, and it's coming right back to the people because that's who this has always been about, by the fans, for the fans. So you guys are going to get to ask questions. I saw some of them. Some of them are looking really good. We're going to try and take some from the chat as well. This is going to be a good time. No intro like usual tonight because we are using StreamYard. So you guys will get something a little bit different from us. Hopefully everybody on the audio section has been enjoying this. I know they've been long, but it's well worth it. The content is good. It is good. So many people have listened to the whole thing, just dissecting little parts, had questions about things. This is the time, though, Bryan.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, I got a couple of questions that my friend Roman sent me, too, so I'll answer those in addition to what you got.
Nice. Who do we got in the live chat right now? Right now, we've got my man, Original Biggie Obi-Wan, letting us know. He said, good evening.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Obi-Wan? I like this game. You got this professional, dog. Look at this.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Marlon Anthony's in the chat. I think Marlon subscribed to me because of our conversations, Bryan. So once again, owe that to you. Marlon said, here we go, gents. He seems happy. Newcomer Cameron McCauley says he has a lot of questions for Bryan. Cameron, I don't think I saw any of your questions posted, brother. So hopefully we got enough time to get to the people in the live chat here. John L. Jackson's in the house. What's going on? My man, truly the ace. I like it with the little gambit cards, little setup there. Man, so good. You know what, Cameron, since you came in here, brother, I'm going to show you some love. Folks, if you're in here, make sure you hit that like button for me. As many likes as we can get on this will be great. Cameron McCauley, we're going to start off hot with you. He comes in. He's got CM Punk, one of my favorite wrestlers. So he says, hi, Bryan. What was it like developing SmackDown versus Raw 2007? That game is my childhood.
It was great. I mean, we talked about it on episode 1? We did, yeah. I mean, it was great for many reasons. It was great because it was the first game that I was a part of from the beginning, pre-production all the way to the end. As I've mentioned before, I joined the team mid-development of SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. So with 07, it was my first time I really got my hands in the dough, so to speak, and created some pretty cool designs that I'm proud of even to this day. The environmental hotspots, the ultimate control grapples, the control scheme. So it was a great experience developing that game just because it was my first one, and the fact that it was also well received by the fans and the press was just like obviously that's the icing on the cake. So it was great for me professionally, and then personally, I hold it in very high regard, and it's funny because it is one of the games that I do hear a lot of people they say that's one of their favorites is 07, and obviously that makes me feel good. So I'm glad you dug it. That was your childhood. That was the start of my adulthood.
Yeah, 07 is a classic, man. I hear that often. That's up there, like right behind Here Comes the Pain for people's favorite. Good shout out to my man A&R, but let me stick with Cameron real quick. Cameron says his favorite song on the game is Alive and Kicking by Nonpoint.
I'd have to hear it, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, if it was on 2007, I'm sure I heard it a lot.
Yeah. Let's see here. AR just sent us a message. He said, hey, Conrad and Bryan, just wanted to say a massive thank you for doing these shows and educating us on behind the scenes and just the knowledge of wrestling games. Much respect. AR, always here. Always here for that. This is Bryan who came up with this. I'm just kind of the host. Bryan has the knowledge. I don't know too much about the wrestling games. I'll come in. I play a lot of them, but Bryan knows the ins and outs. It ain't me. So
no, brother. No, this is you. You always give, you're always giving yourself full credit. I mean, without your platform, we wouldn't be able to do this. So honestly, brother, thanks to you. Thanks, your show. That's what makes this possible.
And big shout out, my man Cactus is finally in here from XGW. I see the old what is that? That might be 09 or 10. You got the picture of it up. Got to update that thumbnail, Cactus. What's going on, brother? And he said, "Here Comes the Pain" is the GOAT, and he even left you a little thank you, Bryan.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, Here Comes the Pain is I got a question. I'll just answer this. So my friend Roman, he wanted me to list like my top 5 wrestling games, and not in any particular order. I didn't like rank them. I'm really bad with that. I'm even bad with just coming up with things that I just like because I tend to like a lot of shit. But Here Comes the Pain is definitely in my top 5. Shit, I think I got him right here. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Here Comes the Pain. Boom. Love, and a great cover too. Wrestle Kingdom 2. Is it? There we go. See that? This was a game that Yuke did. It was only released in Japan, but that game was dope because it had. Although it was named after New Japan, and New Japan is a primary promotion that it covers, but it had All Japan, free agent wrestlers. It kind of ran the gamut of all the promotions in Japan. That's a really good game.
That's like a holy grail that I always wish I had my hands on, but I could never figure out back then like how to get it.
Yeah, and for me, like it was great because my coworkers gave me that copy, and I remember back then it was hard to play Japanese PS2 games. Like you couldn't play them on an American PS2. You had to get some kind of whatever gimmick converter. Yeah, something like that.
PR Nightmare has joined us in the chat. I don't know. He said it's not my baby. I hope this isn't into reference to any storylines that happened yesterday. Let's see here. Cameron said, "You made the WWE game so good. In my opinion, you are the mastermind behind WWE THQ SVR games."
That's very kind of you to say. It's me and a whole bunch of other designers. The whole team at THQ back then. We were all just clicking on all cylinders for the most part.
Yeah. Bryan, I'm sorry. So you were doing your top 5. So let's get back to that real quick. So you said Here Comes the Pain.
Here Comes the Pain, Wrestle Kingdom 2. And I was saying that, it was easy for me to play these Japanese PS2 games because like a PS2 test kit that we have, at THQ and all the devs and everything, like they play any SKU version of any game. So I still have my THQ test kit. I've kept that bad boy so I can play Wrestle Kingdom 1 and 2 or my next game that's on my list. King of Colosseum. You ever heard of this one?
Oh yeah, with Samoa Joe's in that and all them, right?
Samoa Joe's in it, Loki is in it. It's another really good game, very technical game, which I appreciate. Kind of like Fire Pro, which is also on my list. Fire Pro, the most recent one, that Fire Pro World. And then the last one, SmackDown versus Raw 2011.
Nice. Now I can't. I'm saddened that I didn't see No Mercy on there. That's my baby, but I respect it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'll break down No Mercy. I have No Mercy. Like I said, I'm looking at it in my N64 right across the way here. So this game came out. What was it, like 98, 99?
99.
Yeah. So at the time, I was just getting into wrestling. So although I knew about that game because I had friends who would, play it and all that, I really didn't get my hands on No Mercy until many, many years later. Honestly, after I played Here Comes the Pain. And so when I went back and I started playing No Mercy, because everybody was talking about it, and we had a whole bunch of copies at THQ. Like I remember having just stacks of No Mercy copies. And so I was like, let me try this and play this. And it's a good game. I see why people love it. I do. But and I say this not because I work for Yuke's now. Like if given a choice to play Here Comes the Pain or No Mercy, like that's an easy one for me. Like as good as No Mercy is, I'm gonna go to Here Comes the Pain. I like the play style. It's not even the play style. It's just the speed of the game. The pacing of the game is a lot quicker and faster. No Mercy, it's a little slower pace, like the later WWE games in the franchise. But that's it. I mean, 2 really good games, and I understand completely why it's as beloved as it is. But yeah, Here Comes the Pain that's my champ.
I respect it. You can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion.
No,
Chad,
you can't.
I'm gonna try and knock out your questions really quick, but I'm gonna have to ask you guys to hold off on this. Truly the Ace, how come y'all decided to put Road to WrestleMania in WWE 12? So I think maybe he wasn't a fan of it, and he's wondering why was that put in.
Well, it was put in because we wanted to keep that mode alive, keep it around. I mean, when Justin Leeper was designing it, it was a great mode, very well received. And when he left after SVR 11, we kept the mode going. And we talked about 12 and this version of Road to WrestleMania. And the designer that stepped in, we had a new hire. He came in and took over for Justin. A very good designer in his own right. In fact, he was the one that designed story designer. So yeah, I guess John. So he was around in 11, but yeah. So when Justin left, he took over the Road to WrestleMania responsibilities, and I think look, he did a good job. I'm not gonna shit on John. I'm not, and honestly, the mode, yeah, is it as good as the ones that came before it? No, I don't think so. I think you would agree with that.
I definitely agree with that. That's why it was gone after.
Yeah, and I think we just kind of, it was okay, a nice, I guess, a respectable effort, but definitely lacked a certain something, which is why for 13, Corey made the decision to pivot and kind of just, instead of creating these original stories, kind of going back and looking at the history of WWE, which is why we covered the Attitude Era. So.
That makes sense with it. And shout out to Justin Leeper. If you guys haven't, check out his YouTube channel. Yeah. And Justin, more Beastie Boys. I saw someone saying Justin rapping, and then Justin definitely put up him doing karaoke of the Beastie Boys. I usually go to Biggie Smalls for my karaoke stuff, but I made sure that was never recorded because I definitely did it at a work function, and everyone was surprised that I knew all the words. So
definitely. I went to karaoke with Justin several years ago when he lived in Culver City, and I met up with him and his wife at the time at this karaoke bar. And I knew Justin played or did karaoke, but this is my first time seeing him do it live. And I mean, I do karaoke, but I go up there and I murder a song. Like, I'm terrible, and I kind of expected maybe it'd be something similar, maybe better than me. But bro, when he got up on the stage, I'm like, dude, like it's like American Idol or some shit. I'm
like, dude, he was really good.
Video? He's awesome. He's really good. It blew me away. So yeah, props to Justin. Justin Lee, yeah, check out his subscribe to him on Twitter. He puts out his own content covering Road to WrestleMania, the ones that he worked on his YouTube channel. So definitely check him out. That's the homie.
What song do you pick when you go to karaoke, Brian? See, I get a free question too in here.
My go-to is Snoop Dogg's "Sensual Seduction."
Oh, okay. That ain't bad.
I like that one.
I used to roll up to one of my like very first jobs when I started college playing that, and they would be like, "Who is this coming up, all tore up, hair all jacked up back then?" Like, yeah, what's up, y'all?
I love that song. There.
Good stuff, man. Snoop's the man. You can never go wrong with Snoop. Cameron says SVR 06 is underrated. King is talking about competition. King, I love the that looks like an EFED or something you got going on there in your thumbnail. I like that. He said looks like the competition is going to be between Yuke's and Virtual Basement. That's bold.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I'm a fan of what Virtual Basement is doing. As both, a fan of wrestling video games and professionally. Yes, I guess it'll be competition, but the way I look at it, I mean, I'm rooting for them to put out a dope as fuck wrestling game. And I know that we can. So competition is always good, but at the same time, if both, Yuke's and Virtual Basement can put out two games that are dope as fuck, I think that's just that's a win-win for the community. You know what I mean? And so I'm rooting for them. I've exchanged messages, a couple exchanges back and forth with them. Big fan of what they're doing. I like the idea. I like the approach that they're taking. And yeah, I'm rooting for them. We need more developers doing wrestling, not less.
Exactly. Cactus said it was a conspiracy what happened with the connection early on. He said the man is out to drop knowledge today. Everybody seemed to forgive you. PR Nightmare said that it's my fault no matter what. Nelson, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the blame. I'll take the blame.
No, it really was mine. It was all mine.
Let's see here. What is this? HPW is the process behind art direction discussed in pre-planning. For example, Here Comes the Pain is stylized compared to the realism of its sequel, SVR 05. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what.
So, I mean, if he's asking about the stylistic changes, like a lot of it's funny because like I love the look of Here Comes the Pain. And again, I didn't work on that. Like that was still in QA testing it. But like when I joined, because you are right, like the look of the models and Here Comes the Pain were definitely hyper realistic. They almost look like comic book characters. And I think a lot, and then yeah, for what was it, the first SmackDown versus Raw, they got a little bit more photorealistic, but still had a little stylization to them. And the funny thing is that a lot of that is it was less of a conscious artistic choice by us, and I think it had more to do with how the WWE wanted their models to appear in game. Because that was back when they didn't want the wrestlers, male or female, to be photorealistic. They wanted us to make everybody look like action figures. That's why you never see anybody with any kind of paunch or a little doughy, even if they are on TV. Everybody was chiseled, jacked to the grills, and that was an edict that came through from WWE. And I think as you go through the lineage of the franchise, you start to see because we talked about this how we want it to be as realistic as possible. And over the years, WWE, we slowly kind of thawed them out on their hard stance of having everybody look like these Greek gods and everything, and eventually they did, which is why, you look at, 16, 17, 18, 19, they just got more and more photorealistic.
Yeah, that's just part of the vision that they've always had. Cactus said it's the battle of the goats. Here Comes the Pain versus No Mercy. It's like watching Macho Man versus CM Punk in a promo battle.
I like that.
King said that is a poster of the cause he made. Well, brother, you got some really dope cause. I respect that.
Yeah.
So those look really good. Cameron is back saying, I cannot wait for Ukes to make their new game. I'm hoping it's like the SVR games of old.
Yeah, thank you. I can't wait for that either. And all I can say is that we will definitely go digging in our crates and looking at those classic games, the fun games. Here Comes the Pains, the SVR 11, with the weapon physics. I finally got an email back from my coworker in Japan because I asked him about why the weapon physics from 11 weren't carried forward, and he gave me a really detailed answer. A lot of it he told me to just kind of keep private. But the one thing I can say is that it was discussed, and it was discussed in a meeting that I wasn't a part of. It was during pre-production, where the heads of state, as it were, from THQ side and then Yuke side, they get together, kind of formulate the big picture ticket items and everything in terms of cost and cost in terms of time and money. And it was one of the things that was pared down in favor of trying to accomplish something else. That's the gist of it. And he did mention to me, because I told him, I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but like this game, a lot of people looking back on this and they love the physics in this. And, I hear so many people saying, what happened? Like, why wasn't this kept? And so he gets it. And I sent him some videos that people have created on YouTube. And so he told me at the end, he was like, hindsight being what it is a shame that we didn't. But, and we've talked, I'm like, hey, but we definitely know it can be done and that we can do it. And so, moving forward, that's one thing that, again, one piece out of many that we'll take and, bring over to whatever product that we do in the future.
All right. We got Mr. Flood joining us saying he's a bit late. What's up, Flood?
What up?
Let's see here. Yuke's new game needs to be a mixture of Here Comes the Pain and SVR game. So you can put that in your notebook, Brian. Shout out to Derek in the house. My man Derek will probably be on the AEW Dynamite review tomorrow. He said, B, mother. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Magic.
Thanks, man. What's up, Derek?
All right. So we got another question from Ace. So, guys, if you got questions, take out your notepad and write them down because the other people who posted them first, I'm going to get to them next. Let's see here. He said, what's your favorite football, basketball, and baseball team? Brian, you can go first with this.
All right. So I'll preface it to say that the NBA is my number one sport. So I'll start there. I mean, obviously, I'm born and raised in LA, so I'm a Lakers fan through and through. So I'm down with the Lake Show. As far as baseball teams go, again, I'm a LA homer. So the Dodgers, and for football, the Raiders. I know they're not in LA, but like growing up, they moved from Oakland to LA, and that's when I was, a kid, and that's when I became a fan of the Raiders, and I've stuck with them since they moved back to Oakland, and now they're going to Vegas. So Those are my three.
Yes. For me, I'm going to say for football, Buffalo Bills. I can't hate. You can make fun of the 4 Super Bowl losses, all that. The Buffalo Bills are still my team no matter what. No matter how sad we get, I always have to cheer them. For basketball, that's tough. I usually float between several teams, and I usually go with my favorite player. I'll say this: the Clippers are definitely one of them because that was the old Buffalo Braves team, for those who don't know. But my actual favorite team, because I had my favorite player, is the Minnesota Timberwolves because of Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is my favorite basketball player of the last era. I would say Jordan, then Garnett's probably right underneath him. KG talked crazy shit too, just like Jordan. So it's all good to me.
I love KG. Wow, no love for Kobe, huh?
No, I listen, dude. I grew up hating Kobe. Derek will tell you because we went to like elementary school together. I hated Kobe and Shaq when I was a kid. I respected their game though. Like I knew how good they were. I was just like, damn, man, can we have another team like who can at least compete with this? Like, oh man. I think if they would have stayed together, they could have broke the record for the chips if they just would have kept it together. But
yeah, I think so too. I'm just busting your balls, man. I love Kevin Garnett too. He was one of my favorite players.
No, all good. In baseball, I am a Yankees fan, and if you want to know my backup team, it's the White Sox, Chicago. So let's see here. LPH is good, says he liked the GameCube era of games. What's going on, LPH? Good to have you in here. Ooh, nice replica title.
Yeah, those GameCube games, the ones, the Day of Reckoning are the ones that I refer to. Those are really underrated. And I thought about adding them to my list of top 5 because I really do enjoy them a lot. But they didn't crack it, but they're up there for sure. They don't get it. Yeah, those Day of Reckoning games, they don't get spoken about enough, I think.
Okay. I see more people posting questions. Wait, please, please, please. I promise you, I'm not trying to dish y'all. I got to get to the ones in here. And yesterday was Brian's birthday, if you didn't know. So wish him a happy birthday. I'll put those up across the screen. Derek, stop writing Cody Bellinger in the chat. If you want, Brian, I will let you pick. Do you want to do the Facebook questions first or the Twitter questions?
Let's do Facebook.
There we go. See, birthday boy gets the choice here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. So as I'm pulling this up, and Cactus, if your questions are in there, because I know you took a picture of your questions because you lost a bunch of them that you had. We will go back into it and get it. All right, let us start with Mr. Flood. Flood is in here. So while these are popping up, we'll let Brian get his birthday love in here. Mr. Floodwater showing him some love.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
PR. PR, I saw you wrote that the Bills suck too. I wasn't going to put that up on here. So don't ever. You like the Dolphins, bro.
Oh, damn.
Anyway, Mr. Floodwater asks, why did WWE Games never release updates to update the content in the game? For example, if a superstar's gimmick changed or they got a new theme song, etc., like FIFA does with squads. Excuse me.
Yeah, why? We probably not the best answer because honestly, I mean, I really don't know, but I would hazard a guess as to say it was just we didn't have the bandwidth there to do that. We were a small team in THQ, and I guess assets are easier to implement into the game, like entrance music and all that. But in terms of getting that is easy. Getting that those assets from WWE is easy, but it's like the delivery method that we had in place to make that quickly available to the fans was something that we didn't have a pipeline for that. And I think that had more to do with it than anything else. And in terms of like gimmick changes, anything that required, a new model to be created, whether that's a new model or just slight adjustments or however many adjustments to the look of a certain superstar, like those things take a lot of time, or they did, back then the way we were doing things. So it just wasn't really a feasible way for us to stay that current with the product on television if changes like that occurred. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But it is something, again, going back, it's one of those things, like it's one of several things that I've noted that for moving forward in whatever project we do, being able to look at these things that we weren't able to do then and then making sure that they become a possibility and a reality for our next project.
There you go, Flood. That's your answer for as far as that one goes. Malik says, what was the reason that WWE stopped using songs for soundtracks, and why did they take the feature out where you could skip the song playing on the game to the next song?
Yeah, all right. So is this the same Malik that we know?
Yes.
What up, Malik? What up? I'm glad you like that functionality of being able to skip the songs, because that was an idea that I implemented. And honestly, it's one of those things where unless you stay on top of every little thing, at least this is how it was back then. And it was actually kind of aggravating, but like unless you stayed on top of everything that was in one year's game, it wasn't always a guarantee that it was going to be carried over into the next. I mean, like on the face of it, you would think, well, if it's in this and we're basically just building upon what we had, it's just, yeah, of course it was in 11, it should be in 12. And a lot of times that was the case, but like for a functionality like this with the ability to skip the tracks, it went unnoticed by myself and anybody else. But I guarantee you that had I just made mention of the fact that hey, what happened to the ability to skip the music tracks, they would have re-implemented it. But it's like everybody's got their heads in the sand doing all their different areas of the game. It just slipped through the cracks. But yeah, that sucks. But that's the end of it. And as far as like why we got rid of the licensed music, this occurred during that time where THQ was basically going bankrupt. And so by the time we get to, I think was it 13 where we abandoned those tracks altogether, or maybe it was 14, where we just started to basically use the entrance themes, the superstar entrance music in the background, because they were assets that we already had in the game. And
it might have been 11, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That early, huh?
I remember that Luke Gallows. That's what I can just hear it still. That do do do. I'm like, oh God, stop.
But I think in 11 you're right. But in 11 we still had a mix. It was mostly the superstar things, but we did have a couple of licensed tracks. But then
maybe you guys did. And then I think 13, the one with Punk, I think was the one where you guys went full blown like that's it.
Yeah, and it was because it was just a cost saving thing. Because by 14, as we all know, THQ was out of business.
The writing was on the wall, folks.
It was on the wall. Yeah.
I love people. Original Biggie just wrote it was Cody Rhodes' theme for me in 2011, bro. Yeah, that was another one. Wow, you're like, oh my God, skip. But you know what? Now we look back at it, we kind of probably missed those. I grown fond of Luke Gallows' old theme back in the day. Now,
yeah, booting those games up and playing them again. It was like, oh man, I forgot about this song. Especially Drew McIntyre's. I love Drew McIntyre's that original interest that he had. That was dope. That was a banger.
Yeah, Malik used to do like trivias on his channel, and he had one with like music once. He would send you the music, and you had to listen to it to guess the songs. And I was just like, bro, I could not remember half of them, like because they were just like small people that you would never remember had them. So good though.
That's a good game. I like to participate in that.
Yeah. You heard it, Malik. Get the man on. Derek comes in with a question. Derek says, what would be your dream crossover match between AEW and WWE?
Oh man. Damn, that's a good one.
You get one match.
All right. It would damn. Okay. I mean, because I got a lot. I mean, I really I don't watch WWE much anymore, but their talent, they've got so much fucking talent over there. Okay, Ricochet versus no. I was gonna say Omega. That'd be a great one, but Ricochet, no, I've seen them actually at PWG. I'll say Ricochet and Kenny Omega. I think that'd be a good one. I was gonna say Phoenix, but they've actually wrestled in PWG and stuff. But
they might have did Lucha Underground too.
Yeah. So, but I don't think that Ricochet and Omega had ever been in any kind of match with each other. So
I'll take it. Anyway. That's a dream. That's a video game matchup waiting to happen if anybody got the chance to create it.
Oh no! I take it back. I love Ricochet. I still want to see that match. Buddy Murphy versus Kenny Omega.
Battle of the V Triggers.
Battle of the V Triggers. There we go. I love Buddy Murphy. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna stick with that one.
Yeah, I'm a big Buddy Murphy fan too. I loved him when he was the NXT Tag Team Champions, bro. I was like, yo, this dude's really good. I'm telling you. I heard about him a long time before. I think it was on Solid Monsters podcast. Someone said in a thing, and they were like, you need to watch this guy, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, let me look this dude up. And then eventually I saw him, and I'm like, yo, that's the dude the kid was talking about from Australia. Really, really good, man.
Yeah, I think it was Jay Silva was his old name.
Yes. I'm trying to think for myself here. Derek, honestly, I'm going to go different route. I will say that I would like to see kind of a match with the Elite versus the Undisputed Era. I think that a nice 4-on-4 matchup, whoever Kenny and the Bucks want to pick up, it could be Cody, it could be whoever, versus the Undisputed Era. I think that would be a brawl, and that would be one that I'd like to see personally.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a really good one.
All right. Cactus, I got your questions, bro. So I'm going to have to these are in picture form because thank goodness he took a picture of them before he lost all of them. He put in, how did you determine which modes were a priority? Because it seems like in some games or some modes you could tell we're showing love in some years and others were just copy and pasted and dialed in.
That happened at the start of production, of pre-production, where we hammer out, and it usually came through our boss, who was Corey. But during pre-production is when we figure out two things. Well, more than two things, but the top two things are, okay, what are the new features? What are the new modes? And then that's like priority AAA. And then beyond that, it's like, okay, and then what are we going to do to improve existing features and things that we have in the game? And beyond that, it's either just simple, kind of bug fixes or kind of just maintenance, pretty much for everything else. But that's typically how those things are decided. And usually, Corey makes the final decision, but he would have myself and the other designers. We'd have a meeting to kind of hammer out and figure out, okay, yeah, essentially what's going to get the love and what isn't. Because you can't touch everything, which is a sad part of the business, especially when you're doing something on an annual basis. But that's just kind of what has to happen. Some things, just don't get that tender love and care sometimes. Outside of just making sure it still works.
Right. Cactus comes in. I'm just going to go through all of his right now. He says, as far as we've come with gaming technology, why is it that some franchises are constantly updating the firmware, but with this franchise, we always had to wait for update until next year? I know that we have great, extensive creative something options, but if Cena and Ziggler get a new shirt, we have to wait till next year. So this is similar to what Flood was asking, basically saying, he's basically asking, why wasn't that put in? And it seems like was community creations put in so that could happen still.
So basically, the pipeline, we just didn't have a pipeline in place to make those updates readily available. And yes, a large part of what we did to beef up our the create modes was to implement all these various tools. And first it was the paint tool, and then being able to upload and download images yourself and apply them to your models. It's just a way for us to say, look, this is something we hear you. I know you guys want this. We'll give you the next best thing. If Cena does change his shirt, hey, grab the logo, download it into the game and, put it on, your the model. But yeah, that was it.
Man, yeah, that was wild stuff though. Man, remember using the paint tool? Like, damn, man, that was some rough stuff back in the day. People drawing that stuff.
I know. Man, I was so terrible with that shit, but it was amazing the things that people were able to create with it.
Yeah, there were some really good people. Cactus goes into modding next. He says, why does it seem like the modders on PC made the game better by hacking it? As a console owner, what they did could make my jaw drop. Why not reach out to them and put them on as interns or hire-ons to help improve the game? I've always wondered that too, because that's one of the things I love about the NBA 2K series. Shout out to my man, the Czar. Czar was a YouTuber, and I remember he would always talk about how plays worked in the game. And he would say, if you call the Statue of Liberty, I'm just making up a name for a play. Yeah. This is what should happen, and it doesn't happen in the game. Czar ends up getting hired by 2K, and now their plays are in the game. And I'm like, dude, that's a really good pickup that they hired this dude. And he played college ball. He knew they hired Scott OG. He played basketball in Europe. Like, these were good moves. And I always wonder why we never did that for the wrestling games. There's so many creators out there that I think could really help out with the product, and they're passionate about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. As far as why that never happened with us, I mean, I'm sure there's a variety of reasons. Probably the biggest is that, it's not like we were in a position, and again, like during the THQ years, we were never really in a position where it's like we could just hire, you know, like all these, whoever, like to beef up the staff, whether it was, brand new hires to the company or even contractors. Like our headcount was limited, and that goes back to the budgeting of each project. Once you're at a certain headcount, that's it. Like these are the people that you have. It's not like we had that freedom at the time to just say, hey, this guy, he's doing really good stuff. Let's bring him on. Whether full time, like I said, in a contract basis. So I'm sure that's one reason of it. Another is that back then, I just don't really think that Corey and honestly the design team were really checking the community like that. I think that because the community really is, at least the online community, like with Twitter and Facebook and all that, really kind of they just amassed and gained so much more of a voice throughout the years, that the game was being developed. And by 14, like I said, the company was kaput, THQ. So I'm sure we probably would have gotten to a point where that could happen. And I know for us, that's something that, 'cause I have people reach out to me quite a bit to see, hey, this is, I do this, send me, resumes and everything to try to get put on. And I respect it because like these guys, these content creators are fucking fantastic and they're creative. And, I know for me, I mean, I can't promise anything, but it's like one of those things where it's like when I see talent, I notice it. And if there is something that I can do, move like with our project moving forward to kind of bring in these creative people to help the project, I'm going to do it, because there is a ton of talent out there.
I respect it. And I think during that time too, a lot of us who know more about video games now, I think I learned a lot during that time period too from you working on the games, because people like you spoke up a little bit more about, hey, this is why we couldn't put in Create an Arena this year, but next year we should be able to get it in because we have more time then to work on it. So I learned a lot during that time period. So it's not just as simple as like, oh, we bring people on, and we also had stuff to learn about how the gaming industry works. There's some more stuff besides that. Let's see here. Cactus number 4 question was, why was it that we would see we could play certain match types and cutscenes, but in Showcase, but never get to play them? I think that goes back to the 2K15 casket match, which we have answered before on the past ones, but I'll let you answer that in quick form again.
Yeah, I'll do it quick because we did we got this question during the episode where we covered 15. But the long of it is, or the short of it is that because as a designer for Showcase, like I did design a full match for a casket match, and I wanted to have match designs and have that available in exhibition, and then in that way we can have it outside of Showcase and use it in Showcase. But we did not have the time or the budget to dedicate towards the creation of that match type, and so we had to settle for the QTE.
And that's just what it is for that. Who was in charge of hiring community managers? Because he said that he feels that was a very important position for the fan base. And like I said, I will go on record and say this, that I thought Marcus was the best when it came to interacting with the community. And I think right behind him was Aubrey. Aubrey did a really good job. I know he gets a lot of flack for some of the bad things that happened towards the end. And I know Aubrey always thought we picked on him in the community and like him. Aubrey, we loved you, bro. It wasn't everybody. Don't listen to the trolls. It's their fault.
Yeah, you better leave my homeboy. You better leave my homeboy alone.
Yeah, dude. I thought that the community manager role was really good though. Like you guys were one of the first people to kind of bring it back. Like we saw it for like Madden and stuff for a little bit, then it went away. You guys kind of brought it in, and it was like, man, we need this for all games.
Yeah, we had a really great community managers. You mentioned Marcus, Aubrey, of course, and then Tank.
Let me get to happy birthday, Marcus. I know it was your birthday yesterday too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Marcus Stevens, happy birthday. That's my birthday brother. The marketing department, they're the ones who were responsible for hiring community managers. That wasn't anything that the designers, product development that were involved in. That was a marketing thing.
Definite good one.
Marketing's got a lot of power. Anybody out there who's young and thinking about what to do for a career, marketing's not a bad way to go. They get paid the most.
I often heard marketing as the reason for a lot of things in the game. Marketing.
They have a lot of power. They have a lot of power.
Holla at your boy Big Daddy Kush. You know where to find me. Check the links in below. Let's see here. Why is the WWE franchise not given the same respect as GTA or NBA? He said he feels like we have the same fan base. What reason do you feel like WWE Games? Do you feel like they got the respect they deserved, or no?
As far as like the respect from like the executives of like THQ and 2K,
I think you should say from gamers, as far as, because he compared it to GTA and NBA. Do you feel like it was like a big? I mean, it's a AAA title.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think, you know, wrestling, it's polarizing to a lot of people. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, there are people like us that are, you know, yourself, me, people in this chat who are listening to me drone on that love this fucking thing called pro wrestling, you know, like love it. But then you've got others who, you know, just dismiss it. Like that stand-up comic a couple of days ago talking about how people who enjoy wrestling are retarded and shit like that. You know, like, don't they know it's fake? It's like, yeah, dumbass. Don't you know that Game of Thrones is fake? So there's always going to be some segment that just won't give pro wrestling the respect it deserves. But I think the people, by and large, that I worked alongside at THQ and 2K, you know, from the higher ups to, you know, people in marketing, all the various departments, they respected the hell out of it. Everybody, you know, on the creative team respected pro wrestling, and we put our all into it. I mean, I don't really give too much any kind of thought or consideration to people who aren't into it. If you're not into it, that's fine. Like, I don't even try to convince people. It's like, that's cool. You know, I don't like cricket, but you know, that's fine. You do rock it out.
I'll give cricket a try. You know what I'm saying? I don't dismiss anything, because I'm like, there's a reason some people like this. As far as wrestling goes, I actually responded to Tom Saravino. No, I'm not lying, guys. I swear to God, everyone was like, you don't know who he is? He's a comedian. And I was like, dude, I really don't know who this dude is talking crap about pro wrestling. And I was so confused because I saw a video afterwards of like him apologizing. So I was so confused by all that. But I did put up a picture of my man, Dr. D, David Schultz. That's my man now. And I put up When You Need a Hero, and it was a picture of him looking like a bounty hunter with his foot up there with that curly hair. Man, that thing got mad likes. I was like, yeah, you made the wrestling community pretty mad. But I say the same thing you do, Brian. Anytime I'm the last person someone wants to say, like, oh, you watch fake wrestling? Bro, I'm the last dude you ever want to be around. I'm like, what's your favorite show? Oh, it doesn't matter, bro. And I'm like, no, what's your favorite show? Because I'll argue all day with people. Then I like Walking Dead. I'm like, oh, you seen zombies walking around recently? No. What do you? I mean, it's a show. It's a show. So it's wrestling.
It's so silly. Like, I don't even like. Even when I saw that video of that comic, like, I know a lot of people were upset at him. I could give a fuck about his opinion on something that I like. And he came across as like obviously just being. He just showed his ignorance on the subject. You know what I mean? So I just laugh it off. I'm like, all right, you ain't got to like what I like.
And the chick next to him too. Yo, I watched Road Rules Real World when it was good. I don't remember you being on any of those, so I'm downplaying you too, because you tried to double play both sides a little bit. Like, I went to see The Undertaker with someone. Shut up, get out of here.
Yeah. Trying to she's from the real world.
I think it was someone said it was Real World Road Rules Challenge or something. I'm like, dude, nobody watches that anymore. Is it Ruthie? Is it Real World Hawaii? Like, if not, get to the bag.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Last question from Cactus. He said, how does the roster picking process work? Why are some of these rosters better than others for the video games? And I think you answered that once before too, but I'll let you give another quick answer for it.
So the roster is determined ultimately by WWE, but before it gets to WWE, you know, back in the day it was Corey, and so basically Corey would put the first roster together, and then he'd send it to me, get my feedback. Occasionally he'd ask for maybe like Dan or somebody else on the team, but it was usually, you know, me and him. And, you know, we did it in stages. So we would get the roster, like a prelim roster, started it around like the end of December, beginning of January. Keep that around for a while, you know, kind of see if anybody's released, if anybody is added, you know, kind of keep it kind of fluid. And once we kind of feel we're at a point, and yes, typically it is around the WrestleMania time is when by that point in time, our roster should have been already like sealed and locked down. But yeah, once me and Corey like kind of decide who we need, whether for the game itself, you also have to consider like who do we need for Road to WrestleMania? Who do we need for like Attitude Era Mode, Showcase? That all impacts and affects who ends up on the game roster as well, mostly from the current roster, which is why there'll be some games where you have, you know, you don't have some of the lower card or mid card guys that are actively competing versus having all these other ancillary characters and wrestlers and stuff. And then after that, you know, it ultimately is sent to the WWE, and they're the ones that review it, and they will tell us if it's good as is, or if we need to remove somebody, which has been the case sometimes, or if we need to include somebody, which has been the case most times, because that is a very nice paycheck to be a part of the game. And there was some politics involved on the WWE side of things, as far as making sure that certain wrestlers, you know, got their cash.
Exactly. And a lot of people miss those THQ paychecks still, by the way.
Yeah.
Bryan, we've got to clear up some confusion in the chat. Now, if you want to say this or whatnot, I'm going to bring it up. Thank you to everybody who took a dump on that comedian and nobody even really mentioned his name. That's great that nobody knows who he is. Truly the Ace asks, Bryan, if you have a chance to make an AEW video game, would you do it? But hold on. I want to put that in perspective because Cameron comes in and responds back to him and says, I don't think Bryan can make an AEW video game because he's with Yuke, and Yuke still have the WWE license. So, Bryan, I don't know if you want to clear that up for some people.
Yeah, Yuke's is a development studio. As the developer, we don't hold any license. The publisher, they hold the license. During the THQ years, it was THQ held the WWE license, and then because I was part of THQ back then, we contract Yuke's to then come in and develop said game. And that was the situation at THQ. That was the situation at 2K. The rights always go, in these situations, the licensing rights always go to the publisher over the developer. So no, we do not have the WWE license. That's just how it works. I mean, it's not like, it's any situation like we're contracted to do their game for them. So it's like they have it, they need us to make it, and it's like, okay, here you go. It's not the other way around.
Got you, brother. So they can work with who they want to work with, is what I'm gonna leave that at.
Right.
Let's see here. Malik came back in and said, "Wrestling is an art. People who aren't understand."
One sec. I got to answer the other question, right?
Because yes. I'm sorry. I forgot that was a two-parter.
It like, would I want to make an AEW game?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, hell yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Shit. I very much would like to make an AEW game. I mean, that's an easy question to answer. I love that show. I love that talent. Yeah, and the fact that they're new, and I don't know, AEW is just very exciting right now, and the prospect of being able to work to do that would be amazing. So yeah, that's
if y'all want to clip that and send it to I think, what is it, at Kenny Omega X, you guys can feel free, send that to Tony Khan, whoever you think has the juice. Let them know, man, and put me on too. If you guys need something, I'll help. I need that money, Tony. I'll come to Jacksonville. I'm sorry, Malik. Let me get back to your point here. He said wrestling is an art. People who aren't wrestling fans just can't never understand what the art of wrestling. Go tell Undertaker or Edge or a few names who have broken their bodies for this. So those guys will obviously get offended by it. And Cameron, you don't have to say my bad. I just wanted to clear it up so you knew, brother. That's it.
Yeah. No worries at all. No, ain't no bads at all.
Yeah, this is just a education session a little bit.
That was a good question. That was a good question that he asked. I'm sure that, I'm sure a lot of people are probably confused about how that whole dynamic worked.
All right, let's see here. Do we want to go to Obi-Wan? You know what? I'm going to break this up, though, before we get into video games again. Bryan, I asked this question to another famous podcast. Hopefully they'll answer it this week, but I'm going to ask it to you, too. All WrestleMania 3 ends. Vince McMahon comes up to you and he says, I need you to do a Money in the Bank ladder match after WrestleMania 3, so you know the endings of everything. It's on probably right now. Hogan dropping that leg drop when he lifted Andre 7 feet in the air, brother, with the body slam. Who would you put in a Money in the Bank ladder match, and who would win? You get 6 people.
From 1987?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude, that was... That's okay. This is You got me off guard with this one. Damn. Okay. Well, give me some names because. So who was around in '87? So you had. Can I use people that were on WrestleMania 3, the event
Yes,
itself?
yes,
Or
absolutely.
okay.
My only thing is Hogan. You can't use Hogan.
Okay. Well, then obviously, okay. Randy Savage is an obvious pick. Steamboat is another obvious pick. I throw in King Kong Bundy was on this WrestleMania, wasn't he? He like
Yeah.
wrestled the little people.
Yes.
Put my boy Bundy in there. Let's see.
The crazy part is, I think that's the one moment my mom remembers from the WrestleMania. Like everyone's like, "Yeah, remember the match with Steamboat and Savage?" My mom's like, "Remember when King Kong Bundy squashed that dude?" And I'm like, "Mom, you know what? This is not the moment people remember." But it
I
is.
remember. That's my dude. I remember. King Kong was my man. So we got 3. Shit. Who else was on that card? Was
Who else was that? JYD, Harley Race.
JYD.
You had Piper, Adrian Adonis, Heart Foundation. You had a lot of teams back then.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Piper was on there. I put Piper in there. It's 4, and then Bret Hart. Put him in there, and I was like Harley Race. I ain't put Harley Race in the ladder match. I throw in Neidhart too. So the Hart, yeah, the Hart Foundation.
Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
Who comes out the winner?
Roddy Piper.
All right. I'm not mad
because nobody would see it coming. You know, I know him in that match. I was thinking Bundy, but it's like nah, because Piper, he was just that, you know, he was that kind of conniving. Like he wrestled smart. He knew he wasn't the athlete of a lot of those guys, but he wasn't no dummy. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he let them kill themselves and just take the opportunity when it presented itself and climb up that ladder and get that briefcase.
And he'll shit talk with the best of them too.
Exactly. Imagine the promo afterwards and during. That'd be awesome.
Let's get to Obi-Wan here. Obi-Wan, I won't put the government name out there because I see it's on Facebook. But he says, questions for Bryan for the Q&A. Obi-Wan comes in his first one. How much involvement did you have with the WWE 2K influencers? So those are the YouTube cats who usually get like the early stuff.
I mean, not a whole lot during my time. I mean, we held events during THQ. We didn't hold them all that often, but I guess maybe we did. But we definitely would have events set up just for those influencers. Like we'd fly people out, and we basically like kind of set up, like not really a focus group, but a similar situation where we have consoles set up for the guys and just kind of give them either the full access to the game or certain parts of the game and kind of just have them play it for X amount of hours. And then at the end of it, myself, Corey, the rest of the designers would go and we just hear their feedback that they would give to us. I remember the last one that I was a part of was during the development for 2K15. But yeah, that happened. I mean, they were kind of stressful events, to be honest, at least for me, because you just never know. I mean, you're showing people your hard work, and of course, you want people to like it. But at the same time, you know, you're there to get, you know, constructive feedback. And sometimes we would, and sometimes, you know, I think a lot of the guys were just happy to just take a trip to Cali to participate
to play the
in
game.
One of these things, play the game, which is fine. Hey, you know, I'd probably do the same thing. But yeah, we did a couple of those. I met some good friends. Matt Black was a guy that I still keep in contact with. I remember probably seeing him and Regan, but even probably more Mike Regan from what was that? It was what
Gaming
was
Ring.
Gaming Ring.
Mm-hmm. I was on there.
Yeah,
I remember Animals 07.
Yep. So yeah, we definitely did. Like now that I'm actually thinking about it, I guess we did do at least one every year.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be honest. Those were the things I look forward to the most when they would interview you guys. That's when I would get the most knowledge. Like, okay, this is happening. This definitely isn't happening. This could happen. And you were my favorite because you would just be the dead giveaway. Like, ask him that question. No comment. No comment.
Yeah, I enjoy doing those interviews way more than the ones with the actual press because, and I think I mentioned this before, but it's like when you're talking with the press, I mean, you never know if they were just given that assignment. They could give two fucks about wrestling. They were just like, hey, gotta go cover this event, ask some questions. you never really know if they're a fan of the franchise, fan of wrestling. So you never knew what kind of questions you would get. Sometimes they'd just be very fluffy questions like, "Oh, so what's new for this game versus last?" Just very basic kind of generic questions. But talking to the influencers and people from the community, they would. I mean, it's almost like like right now, like they get into the nitty gritty of shit, and those were the kind of questions that I enjoyed answering the most.
Right. Yeah, I used to always want to try and get Matt on. I know we had a conflict of schedule, so if anyone ever talks to Matt, tell him I'd love to have him on still, just to get his thoughts on the games and stuff when they get ready to come out. Let us get into his next question. He said, "How much influence did they have on the games?" I mean, you brought it up. Like, could they really impact a next year's game upon the feedback you would get?
Let me see. I mean, and I don't. I say this not to be. I'm not trying to disparage anybody, obviously, because that's not what I'm about. But I honestly I don't remember there being anything that we heard from them that was something that we internally hadn't already either had discussions about or kind of wanted to go in the same direction. So they were there. Nothing really sticks out as like, oh, because of this community event, we went this way instead of our original plans to go that way. Most of the time, the events were used for, because honestly, and here's the thing too, is that it also had to do with when they showed up. It's one thing to have them show up and at the very kind of like start of development where we've got our first couple of fresh builds, and maybe they're just playing a small segment of what's new or whatever. It's not the finished product. Probably bringing them out then would have been more impactful than the time that we did bring them out. Because by the time that we would bring them out, the game was damn near done. It was in QA. If there was some great feedback or idea that, we all were like, oh, we didn't think of that, or man, this is really good. We got to get this in here. Depending on the scope of it, it was usually too late to do it anyway, but it'd be a thing that we take note of for maybe the next year's game. So usually when we had the events, it was more for tuning feedback. Does the game, is it, what's the pacing like? Basically to get feedback on things that we can kind of quickly and easily make adjustments to before the game is submitted to Sony and Microsoft.
Understandable. And Obi-Wan basically continues on this with his next two questions. Yeah. He was like, what was the process of bringing in the influencers? Is it based on subscribers' personality? Was it marketing? I mean, how were these people picked out?
They were picked out by the marketing department, the guys on the WWE marketing team, the community manager, if we had one at the time. Obviously they went to him to get whether it was Tank or Aubrey or whoever. They went to them to get information on who they should probably bring out. It was never done through us. Like Corey, myself, no one on the PD team, product development, we never had any say about who was going to be brought in. We were just told when the event was happening and who was going to be arriving the day of. So that wasn't anything that we did ourselves.
Okay.
But I'd have to imagine, I'm sure they looked at, subscriber numbers and like how active is this person's, whether it's
how wild some people are too with the comments too on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you want to come out to an event, you can't say F2K in their game and be like, hey y'all, I'm here. What's going on? Where's the sub trace?
Yeah, that was never gonna happen. Like they definitely do their vetting of who they bring out. You're not gonna and we never had a problem with anybody coming out kind of being abrasive like that at all. Everybody that we brought out were super cool. Like I said, they were happy to be there, happy to have the platform to kind of give their opinions and everything.
Right. And his last one was, did you ever consider having a WWE 2K day for not only the influencers, but people who have smaller channels, know what they are talking about, coming in maybe to play the games? Would you have somebody who has a smaller channel that is very knowledgeable about the game ever come in, or was it just like, if you don't have that reach?
I think if there was, now here's the thing. So I've actually gotten to know, and I follow a lot of these YouTube influencers or channels and everything. Like, it's funny that now that I've been with Yuke's, I've kind of gotten more in the know of who a lot of these guys are, because I watch their content. So the only thing I can say is that moving forward, like if let's say if I were to be a part of one in the future, and I just ask marketing because I mean it's not like marketing just wants to do it all themselves. Like if Corey or myself would have went to them and said, hey, like who are you thinking of bringing out for this event? We'd have a discussion. They tell us, and if there was somebody that I wanted to have there that wasn't on any kind of list, but like you said, maybe didn't have as far of a reach, but their content and their analysis and their the way they presented their feedback and their information, it was such that, hey, this guy or this girl, this gal, they know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's like we need to bring this person out. I think it's good to have a mix. I think it's to just chase after the subscriber counts and all that. I don't know. It's yeah. They can have a whole bunch of subscribers. Doesn't mean that their content is better than this other guy who maybe only has half.
Mm-hmm. And I think it set them up for failure, if I could say this about 2K. And it's nothing bad about any of the people. I basically follow all the main people who get invited out to give their feedback every year. The issue, I think, is that you give them all the content beforehand and they come out and they release massive amounts of videos before the content comes out. Yeah. And it's like, well, dude, you just crushed everybody who's smaller, who's on the come up. So what are they supposed to do now? The only content they can make that's going to get views will be bashing 2K, finding something in the game that they missed possibly. Like you're not going to get anything. And I'm like, you're killing the little guys too while you're doing that at the same time. I understand why they give them something like, hey, you came out here, record this if you want. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
To me, I think the more important thing would be to give the feedback instead of recording all that stuff and then just talking about it. But I'm an audio guy. I don't need the visuals and all that stuff for it.
Yeah, no, you make good points. I mean, I think that's true too. I mean, I was always surprised, like just how, because I remember specifically the last one that I did with 2K for 2K15, and how it was like as soon as that embargo was lifted, which was maybe like a couple of days or a week after their visit. I mean, it was just like my YouTube recommendation of it just flooded with all this shit. I'm like, damn. I'm like, y'all. I was actually surprised that marketing would allow that much content of the game to just be put out there like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Keep something in that. Once it's out, you can't put it back in. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's some words of wisdom for whatever next title you work on.
Absolutely.
Bryan, let's get to Sick. My man Sick won't put his government name out there either. Sick comes in with a bunch of questions. These are probably going to be some fast, quick hitters, though.
Okay.
First question. If you could live your life as one movie character, who would it be?
As one movie character? Oh, man. Shit. I'm trying to be quick. Like a fictional movie character, right?
It could be anything. It could be Shrek. It don't matter to me. You pick whoever you want. You just said a movie character.
Miles Morales.
Okay. All right. Shout out to my nephew, Knowledge. He would appreciate you for that. I'm gonna go with Alonzo Harris. Denzel in Training Day.
Oh, you going heel on us, Conrad?
Absolutely. You got to sometimes, especially when people talk about the Buffalo Bills. Cactus, I know you know Sick. He's part of XGW too. 2, he says waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
You're like my wife. I frankly don't care.
I like them both, but I'd rather have waffles than pancakes.
I don't care either. Too much syrup. I'm just gonna rip them and dip them. It doesn't matter. I'll leave it at that. What albums are you listening to right now?
So here's the thing. Like honestly, like when I'm at the gym or walking to the store, like I listen to podcasts nowadays more than albums. But the last album that I listened to before all the gyms got shut down, and it's an old album. It was Mastermind, Rick Ross's album. I think it came out in 2014.
Trilla.
I just love that album. And I mean I listened to a lot of stuff, but that was the last one that I remember playing. But yeah.
No, Ross is a cool dude. I've been listening to I'm not gonna lie, Monteese's Humble Beginnings. I think that's been a really good album. I usually mix it up with a bunch of people. Who was I listening to today? I listened to some Logic, Royce the 5'9".
I love Royce, man.
Yeah,
I love
me
Royce.
Too. I just mix it up with a bunch of different people. There's times where I want to like hear some lyrical stuff. And then earlier when I was downstairs, I was listening to the Yin Yang Twins Get Low, just because I'm a fool. And I was like, man, I had some good times with this song, man. Good times.
That beat knocks though. Shit, I like the Yin Yang Twins. I have that album.
Exactly. Just good times with that. Let's see what else he has here. 2 wrestling moves that have been erased from wrestling. Which 2 do you choose? DDT, drop kick, elbow drop, or leg drop. So basically we get to keep 2. The other 2 are gone from wrestling forever.
Okay, keep 2, drop 2. Say it one more time, please.
DDT, drop kick, elbow drop, leg drop.
Leg drop is out because fuck Hulk Hogan. Damn. Oh man, that was like the most obvious one to take away. Well, I'm keeping the DDT. I gotta have that.
Man, drop kick or elbow drop? That's tough, man.
I know.
I love me a good drop kick.
Me too.
Who best drop kick?
Well, everybody says that it's Okada. His drop kick is very nice, but I'm not sure if I'd say it's the best.
Dude, it's Bob Holly or AJ Styles, I think.
AJ's drop kick is great. So is Holly's. I think Ricochet throws a really good drop kick too. So yeah, I'm okay. DDT and drop kick, I'm keeping. Elbow drop, leg drop, kick rocks.
Yeah, you know what? Because you didn't say top rope elbow drop, so that's what I was going to do. I'm like, yep, that's out then.
Yeah.
Same for me. 5. He says, do you think gaming companies will ever be able to release a game like Rumble the Roses in this social climate?
Man. Honestly, probably not. Probably not.
I'm going to agree with you on that. Man, if I ever saw a kid with their dad like walking up to the Blockbuster checkout line with Rumble the Roses, I'm like, he's gonna become a man tonight. Keep that door open, boy.
I mean, there were things that we did in the in what was it, SmackDown versus Raw 2006, the bra and panties matches. Like it's funny to look back at that and be like, wow, how the hell did we get away with this shit?
Oh,
like, even so, the cutscenes.
My man 616 Entertainment, bro. Anytime you had to play those matches or whatever, bro, like that was the most embarrassing thing as a wrestling fan. Like I used to hate trying to explain to somebody like, so what are you doing in this? Like, oh, you gotta fulfill your fantasy meter up, man.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
We can play one in 1 second when this is done. And it'll be like the longest match of your life. Like, God, just stay down.
I know. That was crazy. Different times.
LPH said Randy Orton threw a good drop kick. I respect it.
Yeah, Randy Orton's got a really good drop kick.
Original Biggie said you spoiled my next Let's Play of Rumble the Roses. Oh, man. That Cena drop kick, though. Come on, Flood.
That low altitude drop kick. Yeah. I guess it is amazing he was able to get up, I guess, as high as he did.
Yeah, shout out to 616 Entertainment. Cactus just wrote bra and panty matches over the graveyard match in 2K. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Malik, I told the chat that I would get back to their questions. So save whatever questions you guys want. Yeah, 616 Entertainment is an underrated YouTuber. I enjoy his Mortal Kombat series and everything, the history of SmackDown. He did a lot of really good videos.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of his videos.
Yeah, he's the one with the Dan-Dans and he does the big
or
whatever. Yeah, I like him. He's good.
I definitely have.
See what happens. I just botched and closed my thing here. Where are we? Okay, so 6 said, what games are you currently playing and what games are you excited for the release of?
Okay. You actually caught me in a moment where I'm actually playing a new game. I kind of go on different periods when I'm not playing much. So for my birthday present to myself, I picked up Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
On May the 4th, I got it on sale. You know, I never pay full price for shit. I got that, and I'm playing it right now, and it's really good, man. Like, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I like it enough, it's fine. Grew up with Star Wars and all that. Not a big fan of like these these recent movies. But I like The Mandalorian, and I basically think I like everything except for the films at this point. And this game is lit, man. It's really good. It's fucking hard as shit, but it's good. I'm digging that a lot. And what was the second part?
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Virtual Basement's game, if I'm being honest. Like, I am. Like I'm looking. I'm very interested to see what they do. And I mean, I didn't want to say, oh, I'm looking forward to my potential project. It's like that's just a given. But outside of what I do, yeah, virtual basements. I'm really really excited and intrigued by what they've got going on.
And for me, for those who care in the chat, it's Streets of Rage 4 is what I've been playing mostly lately. Classic beat 'em up game. If you've never played Streets of Rage, check it out.
Yeah, it's dope.
And the game I'm looking forward to, I think The Last of Us too. I'm kind of interested to see where it is. I didn't see spoilers. Don't do that to me. I did a good job avoiding them. I work really hard to avoid wrestling spoilers, all that. So yeah, I want to see what this game's about. So hopefully it's just as good as the first one. I thought the first one was pretty dope. And I didn't play that until years later. Someone gave it to me. They were like, I got a free copy of when you want it. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We played on the same basketball team. And I was just like, yeah, I'll check it out. And then I was like, yo, this game's amazing. He's like, I knew you'd like it.
I haven't played it either.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's pretty dope, actually. Once I got into it, I was like, oh, okay. And I like games with stories behind it and everything else.
No, me too. Me too.
Let's see here. Best rapper of all time.
Best or favorite?
Best.
Shit. I think.
Who's your favorite?
All right, yeah. Let me say that because I feel remiss if I. So my favorite of all time is Tupac. The best, and I'm saying this kind of being as objective as I can, kind of taking my fandom out of it, and just looking at it from just kind of very pragmatic way. I think that Jay-Z is probably the best of all time.
That is my answer as well. I can give you my top 5, honestly, that I say of all time, and I try to do it as objectively as possible. I go number 1 is Jay-Z, number 2 is Eminem, 3 is Tupac, 4 is Nas, 5 is Biggie. And Biggie is probably the one I listen to like the most. Like I love Biggie Smalls, but his body of work is just not as much as Tupac's. Jay-Z, one of the best businessmen of all time when it comes to hip hop. He wasn't even supposed to be in that spot, and look at him now. Like
I know. And the thing with Jay-Z, just add this a little bit longer, that I really have respected and appreciate about him is that he's allowed himself to age with his music. It's kind of rare in hip hop to see somebody start one way and then change and grow and mature, and like where their content is different. You go back to Reasonable Doubt, you listen to that, a young man, trying to get put up on the grind and everything, and then you go listen to whatever his last album was. I forget the name of it. I have it. I just forget the name of it. And it's like that's a different man. You know what I mean? The lyrical ability is still there, but like just the content, everything that he's talking about is just that's grown. He's allowed himself to grow and to mature. And sometimes a lot of rappers and especially in hip hop, they don't allow that. They kind of stick to the same formula, and Jay-Z didn't. So props to him.
Yeah, I'm getting some hate. My bad. Cactus, you're never online, bro. Don't give me that mess, man. You know we're old as hell now. I don't see you on. We get on. We talk in the chat half the time more than anything. Malik listed all the games he's looking forward to. God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption, Detroit Becoming Humans are all really good games for PS4 if you're a PS4 player. I see people talk about SpongeBob, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated.
That game is dope, man. I think I mentioned before. I tested that game, the original.
Mm-hmm.
I love Battle for Bikini Bottom.
And Cactus updated us. 444 is Jay-Z's most recent albums.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Actually, you know what? Cactus, shout out to you. Sent me that album. Don't let Jay-Z know that though. Yeah.
Did you like 444?
Yeah. I thought that was really good. That showed his maturity, I thought, a lot with it. Reasonable Doubt's one of my favorite albums by him. I love the original Blueprint. Yeah. That song just speaks to my soul. I think it just reminds me of like walking what was I in? Probably I had to be in 8th or 9th grade, and it just got me through high school that first year because I almost got into some fights with people over stupid shit about like talking shit about my sneakers. I was the new kid in school and they didn't know me. I'm like, bro, I've lived in this like town my whole life. I will jack you up, bro. Like you don't know me. And then I became friends with these people later on, but I was just like, man, let me put my headphones on and keep it moving, bro. Cause I'm not trying to hear it. I don't feel like getting in trouble. It's not worth it.
Don't test, son.
Here, Lil Wayne's not top 5. Did you hear the 5 names I just said, son? I love Lil Wayne, but
I love Lil Wayne too. I love Lil Wayne too.
But not top five. Not top five.
He'd be in my top 10. I think the Carter 2 is still one of the most, like, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. The Carter 2 is fucking, like, from the beginning to end, just perfect.
Listen, Brian, I gotta try and get you to listen to some Lupe, because Sid gave me the business about that last time. Listen, bro, I'm telling you. Have you ever sat down and really listened to a full album?
I tried.
Which one did you try to listen to? And don't tell me Lasers.
What's the cover art for Lasers? I think it might have been Lasers.
It was the all white background with the A that looked like the anarchy symbol.
Yeah, that was the one.
So do you know why I tell you not to listen to that one? He had nothing to do with that record for the most part. Those were songs that he had recorded, and then his record company like took them and put them on the album. He had
one of those.
So listen, him and his record company were like this from the beginning, and everyone was like, he's not going to walk away from that much money. He'll never walk away. And he walked away from that much money. They're like, bro, where are you going? And he just had a session with Joe Buttons the week we were talking about him originally. And he said, like, well, what was the problem? And he was like, they tried to make me go to a show when I was sick. I could have died. And they were like, you need to be here for BET or they're not going to play your video. He was like, bro, you want me to be like the third person on a BET like summer jam and they're not going to play my videos if I don't show up? Really? And he told some really crazy stories about the whole thing and how they hired him. And then they sent out an A&R to buy the rights from his music from the original person he got it from. So he had a record company before. They bought all of their like talent and equipment and brought it over to their record company. Then they would go out and triple dip and buy. Okay, you own his music rights? Yeah, I want to buy them from you. And they would pay that person off. Now we own you. We own the beat and we own you. And it's like, yo, you're already getting paid for me and you bought the beat from her. So now you're getting royalty from you and that. So he was crazy, but Lupe really taught me a lot of stuff, bro. Like when I first heard it too, I was like, yo, I don't want to hear this. This dude's a fake Pharrell, like Kick Push. It ain't for me.
Yeah, I didn't like Kick Push. All right, look, I'll give him a chance. I'll start with his first album. Would you recommend that?
Food and Liquor is really good. Okay. And I like Food and Liquor too. You got to go through specific tracks, like Unforgivable Youth, one of my favorite ones, kind of. I'm getting too super deep, so please don't like put me on no politics or political spectrum wrestling fans. Like, there's some really good stuff in there, though.
All right. Just because it's you, brother. Just because it's you. I'll check them out.
I feel like some people are trying to. I don't know if you're talking about K Quick. He said K Rhino is probably the best rapper.
Oh, K Rhino. He's from Houston, I think. Yeah, he's dope as hell, man.
You know what? I've never heard of him, so I might have to check him out.
Yeah, he's an independent cat. No, and he's got a great voice as well. Like when it comes to hip hop, there are two things I check for. It's the voice and it's the lyrics. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things about Lupe. I was never a fan of his voice. It was hard for me to get past his voice. Yeah.
No, Lupe's a really like dude. He's super intelligent. Like when you actually speak to him, I'm like, man, that's a really like dope way to think about things. Like he changed, dude. Listen, when I used to rap, I used to be one of those fake dudes who would write like, yeah, I went to the club, saw my B, and then he like made me change all of that. Like, dude, I'm like, that's not me. That isn't me at all. Yeah. And I was like, I gotta stop writing stuff like that. And then like my whole style changed completely from it. Let me see here.
You got to be authentic to yourself, you know.
Cactus says, I'm not dying for BET, not MTV or VH1. Cactus said Childish Gambino over Lupe all day.
Yes, I agree with that.
I love Childish Gambino too. Childish Gambino, though, he does too much shit, man. He does too much stuff. I'm like, dude, where's your album coming out? Where's Human Sacrifice? Where's that song? He put out a new album, and I'm like, oh, finally, I'll get to hear the song. And I look for it, and I'm like, it's not on there? What is this?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Childish. And, you know, the guy who put me on Childish was Chris Hero.
Nice.
Because, you know, Chris Hero, he's a big hip-hop head.
Yeah, dude, he loves the Wu-Tang. Yeah. Only thing I don't like is that he likes Duke, man. I'm like, come on, bro. Me and Derek are rivals. I'm a North Carolina fan. So I'm like, yo, get that out of here, bro.
Yeah, I'm not no one's perfect. I'm not a Duke fan either.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sig. We went down the rabbit hole of rap music. I love rap because I used to do it, so my apologies. Let's see here. Number 8, he says, has there ever been a game that comes out that you as a game designer wish you hadn't been part of its development? Doesn't have to be wrestling. That
I wish I was a part of its development or wasn't
part of. Like You were like, please take my name off of that.
But that I actually had nothing to do with.
No,
like,
yeah, but he's saying like, is there a game that you were on that you wish like, I wish I had nothing to do with that, man?
Yeah. I mean, no, because even in my mistakes and failures, you learn something. But of all the games that I've worked, I'd probably have to say it was SmackDown versus Raw 2008. It'd be, if my name wasn't on that, I wouldn't be upset.
Any movie recommendations for people who are stuck at home during the quarantine?
What did I just see recently?
I can tell you one not to watch. The Boy 2 sucked.
That first one looked bad.
No, the first one was good. The first one, I thought it was really good. Bro, I wanted to go see that one. If I could tell you offline, I'll tell you why I thought it was good if you want to hear the spoilers for it. Like, it was a really good plot, I thought. This second one, I thought WWE wrote this. Like, they took a dump on the first one. I'm like, dude, what happened, bro? Like, what did you guys do?
Oh man, I think it's on HBO. So maybe I'll give it a watch.
The first one, not
the first one. Yeah.
Don't waste your time.
I'm trying to think because I watch a lot of TV shows. Like, I've been binging Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love that show. I think the last movie I saw was it Extraction, that Netflix show with Chris Hemsworth. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm always behind on Netflix stuff though.
It's dope, dude. It was written by one of the Russo brothers, the guys who did Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, Winter Soldier, and it was directed by the Captain America stunt double. It's his first movie. The plot is really shallow. It's basically just Chris Hemsworth trying to rescue this boy from this drug cartel in India, but the action is fucking amazing. It is some of the best action that I've seen in recent memory. It's worth watching just for the action alone.
Man, I'm trying to think if I have a suggestion for anything. If you guys haven't checked out any of the stuff like the Toys That Made Us or the movies that made us, really good stuff, like to watch the behind the scenes for Ghostbusters, Toys That Made Us. They actually have a wrestling episode of the LJN figures.
Aubrey's on that episode too.
Yeah. Power Rangers, I believe they had one for. I was a Power Ranger kid growing up with the toys that flipped their heads. And bro, when you start looking up the prices of the toys that you once had, your heart will break in half. And my man Saban, who came up with the Power Rangers idea, me and Sick were actually talking about this. The dude's a straight up G. Just watch the episode and you'll see what I'm talking about. The dude's a G. And think about how it plays out in the end.
All right, that's a good one. I'll check that one out.
Yeah.
Another movie I recommend, not the greatest. I rented it on Google. This movie called Underwater. I think it came out in January with Kristen
this
Stewart.
sounds like some LL Cool J shit. Under Siege.
No, it's not an original movie. It's basically an Alien ripoff. But as far as ripoffs go, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. That was fun to check out.
Yeah, chat. I see you guys putting questions in. I promise you, I will come back to you guys. Malik just put a suggestion and he said there's a show on Netflix called The Last Kingdom that's really good. Not a movie, but a good Netflix show if you're into Lord of the Rings type stuff. He recommends it.
I remember seeing the thumbnail for that.
You know what? I've only seen one Lord of the Rings movie. It was the second one, and it was the worst blind date. Like, someone set me up with this girl ever. Oh my God. I remember that from way back when. Oh God. Like, I couldn't wait for her ride to come get her. This is before we had cars even. I'm like, dude, yo, when is your family member coming to get you? Like,
what happened? Why was it so bad? Was it just like no chemistry at all? Or you weren't feeling her?
It was weird. So, you talk on the phone first. The chemistry was there. Like, it was all the good talk. And then once you got to the movie theater, I'm like, yo, this chick's really into like Lord of the Rings, bro. I'm about to be sitting here for 3 hours sitting next to her. And she didn't want to say nothing. She didn't want to do nothing. She was just like weird. And I'm like, yo, I'm done with this. Like, I'm calling someone else as soon as I get up out of here. Have a good night. See ya. Walked her to her car. I was still a gentleman about it, but I was just like,
of course.
That's the end of this. Delete that out my phone. Shit. It's a rap Rizzy.
Delete.
Like the wrestler reference there. Sick, where are your questions right now? What's going on, Sick?
What up, Sick?
Your thumbnail. Let me see here. His last question was, any wrestling move stories that you have gotten in trouble for as a kid? I remember getting detention for giving my friend the Stone Cold Stunner in 5th grade.
No, not for me when I was young, because, as I explained at I think it was episode 1, like I didn't get into wrestling until later on in life. I mean, I was in college by the time I got into wrestling. I did put my roommate in the sharpshooter at one point, though, back in my college days. It's a legit hole, man. Like he was legit. I think I legit hurt that motherfucker. Like that's a powerful hole right there.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my brother Cam if he pops up in here about those holes. I was good at the walls of Jericho. He would always block it and never turn over. But if you put his face near like the ottoman or the where you kick your feet up, he'd have to turn. And I'm like, gotcha. Put that knee right in the back of that head.
Lion tamer style.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's the benefit of being the big brother. And honestly, I'm not flexible at all. So I would have died if somebody did that to me. Like I would have been like, oh, my groin pulled. I think I'm done. Yeah, the only thing I could think of that I saw somebody get a detention for was, and it wasn't me. I'll never forget this. So in high school, people are rushing, and dude left his backpack like open in the back. He had every book possible for class, and I used to walk around the same way. So this is why I noticed that. I'm like, yo, bro, you might want to zip up your backpack, but he's running to the next class because he's already about to be late. And this dude gave this kid an RKO. He like jumped over his back, like propelled off of it into an RKO onto the floor. And I remember all dude's books and papers went everywhere. I cried laughing so hard, and I couldn't help him because we all had to get to class. I was just like, yo, this dude's about to be late and get detention, and he got RKO'd. Never, ever forget that.
That is freaking hilarious. Oh man, I wish
we used to do backpack flips too in class. So this is back when you could bring your book bag into class. I don't know if they let you do this anymore in high school, but we'd have the backpack sitting there on the floor, and if you could get someone's bag like their strap, and you could put your foot on it and take it, we would flip their bag inside out and then put all their stuff in there and then zip it back up, so you had to carry it around like an idiot.
Oh, that's cold-blooded, man. You're devious, man.
No, listen, dude, that wasn't me. I was never smart. I'm not smart enough to figure out stuff like this. I was too busy trying to kick girls like flip-flops off and stuff like, yo, what's up, girl? Oh, you want me to get that? Come here, give me your number. Talk to me. Holla at me. What's going on for the weekend? And then, play the Yin Yang Twins from the window to the wall. Yeah, good stuff here. Rob is coming in with some of the last questions. Yo, Cactus, I just saw you sneak some questions in popping up at the end just now when I refreshed. Rob says, have you been watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and who would you consider to be the Michael Jordan of gaming development?
I am. I just started watching The Last Dance. I don't have I've got various platforms that I watch my entertainment on. I don't have ESPN, but I was with a friend over the weekend, and he had it. So I watched the first 2 episodes. It's really good as advertised. And then as far as who's the Jordan of game development, as far as like studios and stuff like that, or oh man, shit. I mean, there's a lot of quality developers out there. I mean,
is there one though that you think is like you're not topping them? They're the best ever.
Nintendo.
That's a good answer.
Nintendo. Obviously they're a development studio and a publisher, but nah, man, like Nintendo in terms of like their batting average, like they're damn near 1,000 with their main line titles. You know what I mean? Their Zeldas, their Mario's. Like Nintendo just might be the GOAT. Look
how that Switch was selling out over this pandemic. Like,
yeah. Everybody, I keep hearing about Animal Crossing. Everybody's going crazy with Animal Crossing. I don't know if that was developed by Nintendo, but I know it's on that platform. But yeah, man. I mean, from the games back then that were classics to the shit they put out even to this day, they're hard to beat, and they take their time. You know what I mean? Like they don't rush anything.
Hold on, Brian. Before we get to the next question, I have to put some of these things in here that I am dying laughing at in the chat. Who had it here? What's going on, Michael Starks? I know you said, did you miss anything? You did miss a little bit, brother, but stay tuned. People in the chat, I'm going to say it again because I know some people just came in. I will answer your questions, but I got to get through the Facebook ones first and then the Twitter ones. Then I'll come back to you guys if we got time for them. Six talking about somebody getting a rock style spine buster in the cafeteria. I just put up. Someone had a debate today on one of the like grappling Twitter accounts that said who had the better spine buster, Arn Anderson or Ron Simmons.
I saw that.
That was tough, bro. I picked AA, but that was a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, his is hard to beat.
Yeah, but I always like Ron Simmons too. Cactus said that he gave someone the mandible claw with Mr. Sacco. Cactus, you keep them nasty ass socks on your feet, bro. Cheeto crust on them or whatever you got on your feet. People alone, man. Cactus needs to stay out the women's apartments. Good old XGW. I love you guys.
Oh man, bringing the entertainment.
Yes. Rob says, favorite food or restaurant to eat when you're in Japan?
Oh man. There is a sushi restaurant that me and my coworkers go to. I found it maybe like 2015. It's not far from our office in Yokohama. And every time that I go to Japan, the first thing that I do is hit up this sushi restaurant. It's in a mall. It's not even like a fancy place. And in fact, it's one of those conveyor belt sushi restaurants. It's called Midori, and there's always a massive wait to get inside. Like you get it, so it's on like the 10th floor of this mall, and you go up the escalator, and there's just this line of people that just snakes around like the escalator and the wall, and people wait. And with Japan being as efficient as it is, you don't usually have to wait that long. The most that I've waited, me and my coworkers, is maybe like an hour. But it is so worth it. And brother, like, I don't know if you like sushi or anything like that. It is some of the best sushi that I've ever had. And it is so freaking affordable. It is so cheap. They basically, you can order from the chef or just take the plate on the conveyor. And like all the plates are color coded. So it's like, the pink plate, whatever's on the pink plate is 250 yen, which is like $2.45. You got other plates that I think the most expensive plate is like the equivalent of $6, and you just take what you want, you order what you want, and you just stack the plates up, and it is it's delicious, it's fresh, and at the end of it, when you're ready to go, the server just comes around, scans your plates, prints out your bill, and you just go and pay for it. Like I've had sessions up there where we've spent like an hour and a half, close sometimes two, and I'd walk out of there having spent like $35.
And that's still not bad for probably how much you got to eat too.
Oh, that's brother, like, I mean, compared to what the prices are like here in LA at sushi restaurants, at restaurants that are nowhere near as good as this one, like $35, that's like the start of your meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. We were actually just having a conversation about sushi in our XGW little private chat on Facebook, and we all just go in there and we just keep up talking about movies, stuff like this for what we're doing right now. And I think it was Sick just had some sushi or egg rolls and stuff, and they were like, yo, how was it and stuff. I'm telling them, man, I had calamari when I went to Canada for the first time. I think when I went for SummerSlam last time, never had it before. I was like, let me try this calamari. I'm like, it should look like onion rings. It can't be that bad. And dude, absolutely delicious. Like, it's so worth it. And we made it all. Like, they brought it out raw to you, and then you had the little like tables where you cooked it on. Really dope. Like, you could cook it as much as you want if you like it rare. Like, some people probably like it like that. You could make it like that. It was just great. And we got like a big table packet. So everyone paid $80. I think we had 4 or 5 people with us. Yeah. $80, bro. Delicious food, man. And you just
$80. $80. That was your cut, or $80 for the whole thing?
$80 for the whole thing. Like, you could order different packages depending on how many people you had with you. And they would suggest like, hey, you get that. They had sake drinks for everybody if they wanted them. It was it was wild, man. It was really good.
That's really good.
Six said, man, I ate sushi today for the first time. Never again. Cam, I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, I remember those walls of Jericho. What's going on, Casey Classic? Good, man. A lot of people like the sushi, man. I don't know how Cactus came in here to collect some money, bro. I don't know.
You owe $5.
Yeah, about Trey Fede. So let's get back to Rob's questions, though. He said, what is your favorite, or excuse me, he said, what TV or movie series would you like to see turned into a video game? His would be Sons of Anarchy or The Mayans. That's one of my shows too, dude. I absolutely love Sons.
I just finished that maybe like 2 years ago. I went through it on Netflix. It was all right. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I hear the Mayans is really good though.
Mayans, I like Mayans so far where it's been.
Yeah. As far as like shows, man, does AEW count?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'll say that.
Good. Good. AEW, make something happen. Let's see here. I'm a fan of ginger. Okay. There's only one sushi I like. Hint, hint, cactus. Come on, bro. Can't be talking like that up in here. Broken Rockstar Random. I hate guacamole. I'm not a big guacamole guy either.
Oh, I love guac.
It's, you know what? It's got to be made right. I've had two that I've ever liked. Usually I'm like, everyone be like, yeah, this is the best. I'm like, this ain't it, Chief. Like, yeah, you know, I try to be respectful about it, but I'm just like, this ain't it. Very rarely.
When I was younger, I didn't like I didn't like guacamole at all. I didn't start eating it until maybe I was in my 20s. I think because when I was young, it was just the texture kind of got to me. It was how mushy it was.
Yeah.
But now I love it, man. Yeah, give me all the guac.
Hot Dog Starks, hold on to that that question. Let's see here. Rob, last question for him. He said, what's your dream destination for leisure and dream destination for location scouting?
For location scouting?
Mm-hmm.
Location scouting as far as what?
I'm going to assume, let's just say for video games. Screw it. Let's just say, where would you want your studio set up if you could? We'll say, I'm just interpreting it that way. And he said, for leisure, where else would you like to travel?
All right, so for leisure, I mean, I got two places, and they're kind of boring, but I just went to Hawaii for the first time 3 years ago, Maui, and as someone who's been hearing about how great Hawaii is for my entire life, I just didn't think that it was gonna blow me away as much as it did. I figured it'd be like, it can't be that great, whatever. But when I was there, man, it was better than everything that I'd heard. I've only been there once. I would love to go back there. The other one is Alaska. I used to live in Alaska when I was young, and I've been wanting to go back there ever since I left. My mom remarried when I was what was it, like 86. So we left LA. South LA. We moved from South Central to Anchorage, Alaska. My mom remarried.
Big difference.
My stepdad was in the military, in the Air Force. So we drove from Cali to Alaska. Took a ferry in British Columbia into Juneau. I was there for 3 years, 3rd grade through 5th, and I fucking loved it, man. It's such a cool spot. It's beautiful, and I'd love to go back as an adult and check it out.
Hopefully it wasn't a dry county. I used to have some people that I worked with.
It's not. It's not.
Well, they had to stay in the dry county part. They were like, and I was like, bro, I know you were sweating in that room. Get me out of here. But the money was worth it, they said. They were like, the money was too good, bro. I had to.
Yeah.
Cactus, I think Cactus is more of he's got a question kind of in here. He said, bonus, Bryan was the GOAT of interviews. He got us hyped every year. Why didn't 2K let him shine in the interviews or let him be community manager? Bryan's passion came through. He couldn't hide it, and we loved it. But why didn't 2K let him shine in interviews, showing off gameplay? We got dry-ass 2K staff doing it.
So the way that it worked, I won't go too much into this, but I just have so like I said, when we moved from THQ to 2K, it wasn't just the product development team. It was a lot of people from marketing that I had mentioned. So all the same people that I was working with previously were all at 2K. The guys, because they were the ones that would either ask for Corey or myself for interviews or whatever, or both of us, depending. And sometimes Corey would say, just give it to Bryan. So they were the ones who were asking for people to promote the game for community events, to the press. That was their decision of who they wanted out there. When we got to 2K, I remember being my friend in marketing, Bryce. I remember him. He told me just straight out. He was like, "Look, we request you all the time for these things, but we just get told no, that they don't. Either he would be told either I was too busy or whatever. But I found this out after I left 2K, because it was kind of weird that I wasn't like the only thing I really did was just that making of video, but they just didn't want me in that position. You know, my boss didn't, and he didn't allow me to do those things that I used to do at THQ.
Yeah, that was a major blunder, 2K, if you ever want to know. So Big Daddy Kush is here to tell you that was a blunder. And another blunder you don't want to make, folks, is not shaving your family jewels. Manscaped, the lawnmower 3.0. Give your girl the 2.0. She can have it. She can keep it. You need the 3.0. It's where it's at. You guys can, shave the bushes, cut the bushes down, makes the trees look taller. You know what I'm saying? So get one of these bad boys that's got the light on it. Good grip. You know, like the PlayStation controller, since we're talking video games, got that grip so that you can hold on to this bad boy and shave all your family jewels. And ladies, you could buy one too. It comes with a great newspaper that comes with it. Here, let me hop off camera for a second. I keep talking about some of this stuff and you guys don't get to see it. Here. And here we go. Here we go. You guys are going to get to see some of the other stuff today. We got the Crop Preserver Ball Toner. Deodorize your balls, fellas. Ain't nobody trying to smell it at the gym, and your girl don't want to smell that either. All right, so make sure you take care of that. You get some boxer briefs. Now, you see it says size L. They just give you a large with the package that they give you. Cool. You get that. You get this nice handbag. Now, this bag is nice. Leather, nice grip to it. Pretty dope. Use it as a little traveling case when you're traveling. You know, lawnmower in there, whatever else you want to put in there. Stuff that you're trying to hide from the TSA. And last but not least, now you probably don't read this. This isn't meant for you to read. This is so that you can save the balls and you guys can, put your little trimmings on it. Dump that out, right into the trash can. Every single one of them. Don't mess that up. Cactus, yeah, ball toner. Make sure you use that, dog. Don't be in here asking all these questions. I know how many girls you got, so you definitely need to get your hands on one of these. So go in the description box and go to manscaped.com and put in our promo code EPW Show. Save yourself 20% free delivery. Tell them Big Daddy Kush sent you. And you don't have to thank me. Your balls will thank you. All right? Boom. That's how we transition into that.
JP, brother, that's the best part of the show, man, is your reads for the Manscaped.
Don't let me get Blue Chew. Oh, my God, it'll be over. We got to talk about getting rock hard. JPQ, what's going on, my brother? Good to have you in here. Big paws on the pup. Hashtag watch Stardom. If you love Stardom, check out JPQ's channel. One of the best, dog. Honestly. Holds it down. Where is this? This man said Big Daddy Kush. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let me see. Did this turn into the Home Shopping Network? It turned into I gotta pay some bills, brother. Help me out. Let us get into the Twitter portion of this, Bryan. Now, do we want to take a few from the chat? Because I saw mad questions. I gotta go back up in here. Let me see what I can find real quick. Casey Classic asked Bryan, favorite wrestling game and feelings on the AKI wrestling game series.
Favorite wrestling game. I guess, I mentioned my top 5 earlier. I'll just say Here Comes the Pain. That's my favorite. And my feelings on the Aki games, I think they're good. I talked about No Mercy at the start of the show. The stuff those Aki games were classics, man. Unlike a lot of people, I do think I prefer Here Comes the Pain to No Mercy, but it's still a great game. And like the Day of Reckoning series that we did at Yuke's, like that was developed by our Osaka team, and at the time that team was comprised of a lot of former Aki developers, which is why that game was so reminiscent to No Mercy. So no, they were a great studio. I mean, shit. In terms of wrestling video games, obviously I think we're one of the best to do it, and I think Aki's right up there with us. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's Good answer here, Bryan. I'm trying to find one more here. Who asked us this question? Here's one from Malik. Who is the Michael Jordan of pro wrestling to you?
Michael Jordan of pro wrestling. The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock.
Smell.
If for no other reason that The Rock is the one that made me a fan to begin with, not dopey ass Hulk Hogan.
Dude, listen, The Rock's good when you know you could just remember promos that he did. Dude, oh my God. The songs, the singing, Lillian, I know you get wet with perspiration. Like, dude, I just love all of those. I go back and just look at those when I'm sad sometimes. Haven't done that in a while, actually. PR Nightmare, I didn't even see this until just now. Why you shooting cousin Pedro in the parking lot, bro? Don't do that to Pedro. Come on, bro.
What Pedro do to deserve that?
You seem reckless in the ring, bro. Truly the Ace wants to know your thoughts on 2K Battlegrounds.
I really don't have many thoughts on it. I hope it's good, you know, for the fan base out there. You know, you guys deserve a good, you know, quality wrestling game. I'm all for arcade wrestling games, but I'm not a fan of the visual style of the models in Battlegrounds. But that's just a cosmetic thing. I mean, hopefully, you know, the game is fun, and you know, that's it. That's really it. Nothing more than that.
3 quick ones from here, and then we'll get to the Twitter ones. Six said, "Do you think WWE should have their own gaming studio?"
Yeah, I do actually. I think that it would. I'm sure in their minds they're like, you know, what for? Like, what's the bother? That's why we have you guys, whatever. Whether that's, you know, THQ, 2K, but I think, you know, from a business standpoint, if they had one, they could X out the middleman and, you know, just, you know, develop it internally. Like, they don't have to pay a publisher. Like, they have the means to distribute and to publish the game. You know, you buy a studio and just do everything internal. Yeah, I think it'd be a good business idea for them. Good business plan.
See what my man Six said. That's just what it is, folks. That's just what I'm not even gonna repeat it. That's all you need to know. All right. But yes, Sig definitely agrees with you on that one. Hot Dog Starks says, what was up with Cena's voiceover in 2K19? Damn, that was bad.
I don't remember his voiceover.
They had someone completely different doing his voice for one of the scenes, and it was like, damn.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. The sound alike.
Sound wrong. You mean?
Sound wrong. It was scheduling. It was scheduling conflict. I think it was either that or maybe he just didn't want to do it. I do remember there being discussions about that from that I heard. You know,
that was the year he started disappearing a lot too, though. Like he was after he lost to Roman, like he wasn't around anymore. Like they're like, put Roman over, and then you can go do your thing, man. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just scheduling conflict, and he didn't want to. Probably, if my memory serves me correct, I think it was like, it's not that he just flat out said he didn't want to do it, but whatever he had on his schedule, he prioritized that over the VO. So
okay.
That was it.
Well, I'm gonna listen. Whoever's got questions up until Skull Maniac, that's it. All right, and then we'll go to Twitter. Triple threat: Rock, Punk, Macho. Who wins?
For that promo. Ooh, man. Damn. All right. I just said he was a Jordan, but I'm gonna go with Punk, man.
Oh, you think Punk could hold it down in this?
I do. I think mostly for, I mean, obviously his skill, but the contrast in his delivery, as opposed to The Rock and then of course Macho Man. I think he could come in with some poisonous bars for these guys.
Yeah, I would love to see Punk step back onto the microphone to where he can actually talk about it here. Q&A. Cameron is back once again. He said, when WWE games were moved to PS3 and Xbox 360 while the WWE games were still being published for PS2, were the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions copied onto the PS2, or was there a different team working on the PS2 version?
By copy, I take it he means like porting over. So basically, when we were doing when we made the move to the 360 and PS3, The primary SKU was the game was primarily built for the Xbox, and then from there it was ported to the PS3. Now, as far as like the last gen at that time, the PS2s and the PS2, that was ported internally by Ukes. So they have a team that was there on site in Yokohama. That was their primary focus was because even though we made the move to next gen, we still kept the PS2 around for several more years. So we had a team there that was responsible for making sure that everything was being ported to the PS2 and checking in and making sure that you know it works and all that. But it was a separate team. So you had the guys that were developing for the main SKUs, and then another team that was responsible for doing the process and doing the work to, I hate to use the word dumb it down, but to make it fit within the PS2.
It's another good Lupe song, by the way. Dumb it down. So PR Nightmare said update on his situation. He said he power bombed me on the curb when I had him in a triangle hold. I mean, I guess that's a reason to tombstone someone on the concrete. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? Be safe.
Do not try this at home, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian. I don't want to hear everything pro wrestling and getting called up to what's that judge show where the dude sues people now? I forgot the bald dude. I can't think of his name. Played for the Giants or Jets or something. It's garbage. My dad watches it every day. Judge Gino, there it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the lawsuit one. He's like, you will not talk to it. It's every day. I hear like the same 5 lines from it, and I'm just like, Dad, how can you watch this every day, bro? Interesting stuff, Skull Maniac. I've seen him all over forums from cause.ws to Gaming Ring, so I had to show you some love, brother. He said, hey, Brian, how do you determine which WWE moves would be added to the games? Did you ever use the moves that should be in the next WWE game thread on the 2K forums for reference?
No, I never used that forum. I didn't even know that was up there. When I determining the moves was, whether it's for the main roster or DLC, it was just, you find out, you get the roster together, who's going to be in the game. And from there, let's say, who can I use? John Cena. So take John Cena, for example. It's like, okay, of course he's back in the game. We got to update his moves. Has he done anything? Has he added anything new to his repertoire? And one example would be that net breaker that he started using like in 2014, 15. Yeah. So it's like you notice that. It's like, oh, okay, that's a new move he hasn't done before. So you kind of you take note of it. And basically the process is just that. You just go down the roster and I do it, and I ended up doing it myself, but you basically just create little clips of reference that we use for the mocap shoots. But yeah, you just kind of generate a list that way. You go through and say, okay, well, whether it's taunts, whether it's new moves, whether someone needs a new entrance because they had a character change or a gimmick change. You just go through each wrestler that's going to be in the game and you pick out the things that they need. And which is the easy part. The hard part is then you get all that list together and you find out or you're told that, okay, we can't mocap and implement all this. So pick and choose what you really, really want. And so then you got to go through it again and say, oh, prioritize everything. It's where
what do we see on television every week?
Exactly. Yeah. Like this is the A priority, the B, the C. And we go into mocap with those motions, but with the shot list prioritized in that manner where we obviously we get everything that's priority A captured. If we have time, we pick up priority B stuff, and again C if we have time for that. And we get all the animation data. So as long as we capture it, we have it. It may not make it in that year's game, but we still have it and it'll be in the next one. But then occasionally, Ukes would always surprise us and be like, hey, we were able to get these B motions in. Maybe we can't do all 35 of them, but we can do about 20. So let us know your top 20. And it just kind of goes that way. And then with the DLC, the moves pack, my baby, I curated all that stuff the same way. I did basically just, I'm a big fan of independent wrestling, a big fan of New Japan. And I know what looks cool. And I just kind of curated from there, adding, big fan of the Young Bucks. Obviously there's a lot of Young Bucks stuff that was added on my watch, a lot of Omega stuff, Kevin Steen before he was in WWE, I would take his motions. El Generico. I just kind of looked at the guys that I was a fan of and moves that I thought were cool and would be appreciated by the fan base.
Yeah, that was always appreciated, at least by me. I loved the move pack sets. Like those were always great to have in the game, especially for cause mostly too.
Yeah,
it would really work out well. Land161 just asked, are there secret copies of the PS3 version for SVR07 locked somewhere? Please, somebody, if you can, help this brother out. Get him a copy of SVR07. Let me see here. Somebody, Hot Dog Starks asked about the graphics for 2K19 and 2K15. If you check back on our last two videos, so 5 and 6 for the parts, you can definitely hear us talk about this exact thing with the graphics. I won't have Brian go through it fully again. Sick. WWE, don't try this at home. 12-year-old me. She. I used to hate when Cena would do something simple as a drop kick and Michael Cole would lose his shit on commentary. I'd be like, simmer down, dog. It wasn't that serious. Listen, Cena doing a Hurricane Rana was some serious business, bro.
Yeah. And honestly, wasn't the worst Hurricane Rana that I've ever seen.
No, Kane's might be up there. I remember when Kane did one on Albert. I was just like, good God, Kane. I know you
remember that too.
That was dope, though. I think I was there actually when he busted that out. Shingo. His moveset should be prioritized for future games.
I absolutely agree. I love Shingo.
And yes, they took out preset movesets. Brian and me also spoke about that on a past episode. It broke his heart as well.
Yeah.
That they took that out. Hopefully, JPQ is still in here because I believe he has the first question from Twitter. JPQ asks, #AskEPW. He said, can you walk us through the steps about securing a licensing agreement with a toy company? So I don't know if this is in reference to the THQ Jack Pacific type of deal.
I honestly, brother, I have no freaking clue. That was nothing that I dealt with.
Good reference. Justin's video, I think, for it. Justin kind of explained a lot of what happened with that.
I point him towards Justin's whatever he had to say. I mean, I really don't have anything to offer about that. I don't know how that whole. I mean, by the time I got on board, you know, Jax was in place. I do remember always asking, like, what is Jax bringing to the table here? It's like, I know what Yuke does. I know what we do. But why is this Jax logo up here? Like, I never interact with them. I never have any emails from them. It was basically just, I don't want to call it shady business deal, but it was cronyism. It was one of the guys just trying to help out a friend get some easy money.
In the Netflix series I suggested before, I think a little snippet of it gets brought up a little bit too when they're talking about the WWE figures like later on.
Okay.
And like, yeah, Jack Pacifics, they also make the video games. They kind of snuck in and got into that a little bit too. So I think they had the license and then they basically like, THQ, you pay us, we'll let you get in on this to get some of the money. Like it was, they were holding out basically like, look, we need someone to make this. So
yeah, it was a shady thing. I definitely know that, you know, they didn't do Jack as far as the
Obi-Wan has this channel in there if you guys want to check that out.
Yeah.
Yo, I cannot even repeat. Guys, don't talk about how to do pedigrees in the chat to people. Don't tell people. So Foul is up next. My man Foul Original. He does great gaming videos lately too. He's going through like the history. I think he's still in the 80s time period right now for video games. He's kind of going through and just showing everybody the stuff. He's got a great tutorial guide on how to play as Legion of Doom and the WrestleFest mods on the computers now. So
nice. Yeah, I know Foul.
Foul says, been a great series so far. Major props to both of you. What game series would you most like to work on outside of the wrestling genre?
Outside the wrestling genre, any sort of third-person shooter. I'm a big third-person shooter guy. I'm not into first persons that much, but games like Gears of War and shit like that. I love cover-based third-person shooters specifically. So if I wasn't doing any, you know, wrestling video game, I definitely would want to get involved in a game of that type.
Oh, here comes Malik. Malik is back with another question. He says, question for both of you guys. What was your favorite and least favorite WWE video game?
You want to go first?
Shit, man. This is tough. I'm really trying to think of another game that I can hate more. I think with a
no, be honest, man. Be honest.
Dude,
be
I think
honest.
I want to say it's SVR 08 off the top of my head. That game made me start leagues. Like it made me, I'm like, dude, I can't play this anymore like this. I got to find some other competitive way to play this game. SVR 08, I think, is one of my least favorites, but there's some really bad like Nintendo ones. So I don't know if you want to count those too. Like there's some dude who put this shit out.
Let's count everything. We should count everything, unless he specifically is just talking about, the WWE series.
I'm trying to think of the worst. You know what? No, F that. Wait, did you say WWE? Oh, you better be glad because Backstage Assault was about to be on there, bro. I swear to God, I wanted my $5 back from Blockbuster after I rented that joint. I'm like, where's the rings, bro? I remember I put it in. I'm like, yo, there's no wrestling rings. This game is trash.
Yeah, that was not a good one. I never played that, but I've heard nothing good about it.
It made Mayhem look great.
It's such a wacky idea. That's weird. I think so. For me, I'm gonna take every wrestling game that I've played. I think the worst that I've played was Backyard Wrestling 2.
Oh, I never played that. I saw a video.
That was really, really bad. Like really bad. I mean, not even like outside of the bugginess of it. Because I can forgive bugs. Like I'm old school enough where it's like, hey, sometimes bugs are just a part of development. I never really trip too much out of bugs as long as it doesn't, impede my enjoyment of the game too much. But even taking the bugs aside, like that was just a very poorly designed game. So when you have that, and on top of how buggy it was, then that'll be my worst one that I've played. As far as the games that I worked on. I'm like you. That's an easy answer. It's SBR 08.
Time out. But I will say this, Cactus, I did pay for this game. I did not pay for 2K20. So yes, 08 is better than 2K20. Like when it's so bad that I won't pay for it. Yeah. Malik is tired of the disrespect that 08 gets. It's one of my all-time favorites. Malik, I'm telling you, bro. I'm sorry. That game is trash, bro. It's buttons.
Malik. First of all, brother, it warms my heart to know how much you love that game. And I'm glad that you do. My thing, like, I'm just curious though. Like, when was the last time that you played SVR 08? I would like to know that from you, because if it's been recently and it's like, hey, I played it a month ago and it still holds up, I love it. Rock it out, man. I'm happy for you. But if you haven't played in a long time and you played it, recently, you may have a change of opinion.
Let's see here. Connor said the Simpsons game is really bad. WWF Warzone is trash. No finisher. Warzone had finishers. You just had to know how to do them. It was like left, right, up, down, circle, X. And Ahmed Johnson, just go listen to his promos. Great stuff in that Warzone game. I still have no clue what he was yelling at me for. Warzone was better than 2K20. Cactus, stop it. A blank disc from THQ is better than 2K20. Let's see.
You're coming with the jokes. I love this. This is like a roast session.
No, Cactus. This is Cactus 20 all day. Cactus is a writer too, so I'll give him his credit for it. He writes like screenplays and stuff too. Oh, so nice. Make sure you check him out. KC Classic, our brother, wants to know: has Bryan had a chance to play any of the Japanese wrestling games? He did go through some of them before, but
yeah, I do. I love Japanese wrestling games. At the start of the show, I was listing my top 5 wrestling games, and King of Colosseum right here for PS2 was one, and the Wrestle Kingdom series from Yuke, Wrestle Kingdom 2 would be another. So, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember me and my brother got really heavy into Fire Pro Returns. That's what got us into like the Fire Pro bug a lot. Yeah. I had played them at friends' houses, but I never got into it. Cam, really? The Attitude X-Pac. I remember the TNA game was so. I think TNA's game would have been better if they had another chance.
Bryan, TNA's game is not bad. Like I'm with you. We talked about it before too. Where it's like, were they given like another chance for like a sequel or whatever? I think they were onto something. That first, I played it the other day. It's not bad at all.
Right. Let me see here. I got to go back here. Brian's thoughts on Rumble the Roses. Oh, you'll laugh at that. That was good. That was a good question. So, did we say the best one? I'm still gonna stand by No Mercy through and
Oh,
through.
the best. We had to do the best too. Okay, No Mercy for you.
Yeah.
Then I'll stick with my Here Comes the Pain.
And you know why I say No Mercy, bro? I played that game for years after. Like, dude, we were in high school, and I don't think until Here Comes the Pain came out, that was the one that made me put that shit down. Like, all right, bro, look, I was creating Randy Orton, like rocking the Saturn trunks. I'm like, dude, it looks just like him. They got his moves in here. Like, this is great. And then I had everybody created, and I was just like, man, I can't believe I did all this. And eventually, once Here Comes the Pain came out, I was like, yeah, I got to put this shit down. This roster is pretty dope, and this is a fun game. It's just the best to me. I don't know. I got fond memories of that game.
Two good choices, man. You can't go wrong with either one, you know.
Malik has finally responded back. I have the game on PS2. I haven't played it. PS2, that's your first problem. Yeah, I've been playing about a year. So the best SVR games to me are 07, 08, 06, and 10 in that order. 09 was the worst one to me. I'll never play that one again. See, 09 won me back. I was like, yes, baby, come back. Yeah.
I think 09 is probably my second least favorite.
I like 09. 09 had a lot of good. Maybe it's because I started my league then, and I had some online fun, and I made a lot of friends. Like half my PlayStation list, like who I'm real tight with, came from that era. Like I met Sick on there. Half of the people that are in here I met on 09. Okay. So it's kind of wild.
It's. I mean, it's not that much of a decline. Like, I mean, my dislike for 08 is such that, you know, 09, like something had to be, you know, runner up, and I liked 09. I thought it was, you know, a step in the right direction for us. But
see, I think 10's my disappointing one, where I thought 10 would have been a little bit better, but it wasn't. Like, I thought 09 was a good leap forward, and then 10 was kind of like, oh, I think we regressed a little. But you had
you crazy son. 10 is dope.
Nah, man, all they had was the chest turning purple. That was it. I was like, come on, we got to do better than this. What was the other thing? Then 11, you guys came back with it. It was weird. It was like good, bad, jumping back and forth with those.
I love 11.
Cam, don't bring that up. You're making me laugh. Vince McMahon ladder match. I think I told you that story when my buddy lost the title. It was the European title, Cam. When he said, let me play this quick match real quick. I'm about to dog Vince McMahon. I forgot I was getting ready for like a basketball game or something in high school. And Vince McMahon slapped that man off the ladder, bro, and he lost. Oh, I'll never forget it. Vince was bloody, just cold cocked him, knocked him off the ladder. I was like, leave it, bro. Just leave it. You need to remember that next time you plug that in, that you talk that shit about Vince. 2010 was Conrad tripping on that. Listen, bro.
Thank you, people. He is tripping on that. 10 is a good one.
10 had a good roster. I don't know. There was just something about 10 that I didn't like. I think it was because people could cheese. See, I played online more too, though. So I remember like, yo, bro,
okay, fair enough.
How'd you not tap out? And it was like, oh, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Next one comes from my man Chris Law at Just a Cool Dude. I'm sure you know who he is, Brian.
I do. Chris, what's up, dude?
Chris is the master of movesets in the forums. He said, Brian, what was the first WWE game you worked on?
SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
2, he said, in the upcoming wrestling game you will be working on, what do you think about a creative move feature being added at some point for single and tag team moves? Listen, if you don't know Chris Law, my man Chris is a tag team move aficionado.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I would co-sign that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But what do you think of that, though? Do you think we could ever see like a tag team creative move? Like
that's a cool idea. Yeah, never say never. But that's definitely a very cool, intriguing idea. I'd expect nothing less from Chris.
Yeah, and Sick. I don't know what freeze glitch you're speaking of. That was my partner who did that, never me. I would never do that to somebody. I'm a fair player. I just took advantage of the wins after. Prince Rockstar getting into WWE 12. We'll save it. He comes in with one more. He said that he would love to see your next title also on PC, if you can communicate that. So whatever Yuke does next, he said, please have it on PC.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm a big I play a lot of games on PC myself, so I like that as well. So we're of like mind on that subject. I'll be pushing for it.
I'm so weird still about PC. Like, here's what I want. I want to be able to do everything from the PC, but I want to play it on my system. Like, I want people.
So when I say I play on the PC, and it's only like I just started playing on PC maybe like 3 years ago, and that's because I finally just downloaded Steam. And once I found out, I'm such an idiot. Once I found out you can plug in the 360 controller into the USB port and play it just like a console, I was like sold. Now, unfortunately, I can only play at the office because my desktop is strong enough to run it. I can't play it on my laptop. Got a crappy one, but I like playing on the computer. And with Steam, it's dope because all the saves are in the cloud, so can play at work. I play a lot of games at work, and then if I come home or whatever, go into another computer, log in, I can continue playing from where I left off.
That's dope. That's dope. I feel like these consoles are becoming PCs too at the same time. Like they're almost getting to the point where I'm like, dude, you might as well just have a damn PC for gaming. That's what
They're
it is.
getting there, man. Yeah, it's getting to that point.
Hold on, I gotta clarify something. So A said the Jets are trash because of what my brother said. Jets, I think it was Jets 619 or 319. He was a known spammer in the SVR 09 community, and my brother just happened to remember. Like I blocked him one night. Like I used to get into a bad with these people. This is what happens when you're young, dumb, and
you got a lot of time on your hands.
No, you would come home from hanging out with some friends, and you want to play the game. It's like, dude, bro, you're freeze glitching. Grow up, man. And Six said that I was guilty by association. Listen, it's not my fault, dude, that he would do that stuff. Dude was a jerk. Couldn't help it. Yeah, and Broken Rockstar says PS4 and Xbox One better give us that Spotify glitch so we can use custom soundtracks in the wrestling game. I hope we get it back, bro. I think it's really needed. Like you can't. Once again, I stand behind this. Once it's out of the hat, you can't put it back in. Like once I had custom soundtracks, you can't take them away. But that's an
important one for me.
Can I say this too? With everything that we've always gotten from the community, and with all the lawsuits when it comes to like Orton's tattoos, and you better not give this to any wrestling websites when I say this. The idea of us having like the created all this stuff that we get, I am surprised that nobody has tried to do something about that. Wink face. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but like we have to be careful and just be grateful for what we have too.
Yeah,
it could be gone by litigation, just like that.
It could, yeah, you're right. I mean,
whoever does it, I also will say I'll probably never buy a T-shirt from you again, and you'll never get any money. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you'll be hated by the wrestling community. Malik comes back with a question again. He said, "I need to know if there are any chances of the SmackDown versus Raw series coming back, or is it officially over?" I can answer this one. It's over, Malik. It's over. SmackDown versus Raw will never. It won't be the THQ version of it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the fairest way to answer that. Connor comes in. He said, "What has been your favorite game that you've worked on?"
So these are an easy question. SVR 10, 11, 7. I should have started with 7. 7, 10, 11, 14.
Okay. Is there one that stands out the most that you're like what's the one you're proudest of? Like, you damn right.
11, honestly. And see, here's the thing with 11. Like when it came out, I think most people liked it. It didn't set the world on fire or anything, but I think of all the games that I worked on, it was the one that I had the most fun developing it because it was just me working with the designers at Yuke, the gameplay designers, because I was the only one in charge of gameplay at that time. So it was me and my counterparts in Japan, and we just had so many fun meetings, discussing the havoc and the physics and how the objects and the weapons were going to interact, and to see how we were playing with those figures and the toys, in the meeting room, to then being able to kind of replicate that in the game was something that I'm very proud of. And I think of all the games, I guess the one that really is aged very well. Now a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's the only version of the game that had the weapon physics to that level. But like I'm just really, really proud of that game. And it seems to have kind of found a little bit more appreciation 10 years after the fact, you know?
Right. It's like I can't even think of. I'm trying to think of something we could compare it to that you appreciate after the fact. I guess it's like the John Cena of video games. Like nobody liked Cena when he was there. Now all of a sudden people like clamor for him to come back a little bit. Like, oh, I hope Cena shows up. And I'm like, where? What the hell is this now?
Yeah.
So hopefully you don't feel the same way about people saying that about the game. But I do see a lot of people going back doing playthroughs on it, man. They love it now. Like, man, this is a really good game. I'm sorry. And Chris Law had a second part to his message that I want to read to you, Bryan. He said, Bryan, thanks for always listening to our fan feedback, for always trying to get my tag team finisher move request in and other.
I did my best with that. I did my best.
And he said, in the wrestling games you have worked on and will be working on, gave you a thumbs up. So it sounds like Chris has a lot of respect for you. I wanted to make sure that I put that out there for him.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it. I got a lot of respect for you as well. Like, you know, Chris is a name that I've been, you know, seeing his comments in his feed book for years, just like you, Conrad, you know, and, you know, you like just cares about the game, you know, it's like that. That's why, you know, the whole 2K20 thing was such a disappointment. Like, I didn't even care that I didn't work on it. I just felt bad for the fans because, I mean, the wrestling fans, we're diehards in the best way possible. You know, we're passionate and we really care about this thing. And you guys just deserve better.
I'm going to hit somebody. I'm about to hit somebody up here in the chat with one of their things too. Sick definitely calling me. I said every time the dude would free someone, you'd be standing in the corner looking like Q in the elevator from Juice. Disrespect. I'm definitely a steel type, making the eggs with the 40. How dare you? How dare you disrespect me? Cameron wanted to know what it was like making 2K14 after THQ went bankrupt. Cameron, if you go back to where was that one? I think
5?
That's 4, maybe. Because
yes, part 4.
Wait, no, it's 5. You're right. You're right. Because last week was all the 2K ones and 2K14 and that one. So yeah, you were right. Part 5. Right. Go back into there and you can hear all of everything that happened. Casey Classic, you just made me miss Fight Night, bro. I do miss that boxing game a lot, man. They need to bring that shit back. EA, get off your ass, man. I say do that every other year with UFC. You guys could really
right. I'm surprised they haven't done that.
Yeah. Man, people bring it back. I'll give this one. Truly the Ace wants to know, do you think Otis is going to cash in on Braun Strowman or the New Day?
Yeah, you know, I mean, technically that contract is for a singles title, right? I mean, as WWE, they can change shit at will, so who knows? But
I did see an article where Otis said that he wants to cash in with Tucker because that's his best friend. He was like, I want to cash in with my boy, and I do want to use this to cash it on the tag titles.
Oh, well, nice. Oh, well, then hell yeah, go after the New Day.
But we've been fooled before. If you remember, Mr. Kennedy, who I always steal my intro from when I do it with the wait for it. Mr. Kennedy lied and said he was going to cash in at WrestleMania. He was going to cash in that same night when Edge did. So you never know what to believe. So
you never know. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that he wants to do it with Tucker because I like them as a tag team. It'd be cool if they stuck around at the team.
Original Biggie, I will never do that again. I was in a bind. Sorry, sir. Sick wants to ask you, how happy are you that you dodged that 2K20 though?
Very.
Man. PR Nightmare says bring back Def Jam. I agree with that. That's another game I miss.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Badly. Narcolepsy Boy said all the dream matches that never happened and dream match that could happen today. Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels for me, and AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I think AJ and Bryan did face off, and I know they faced off in Ring of Honor a few times.
Yeah, they have.
But Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels would have been a great match to see. Talking about dream matches, Malik.
Yeah, I got a question from my friend Roman about this. He wants pretty much the same thing. Wanted to know what my dream matches would be that I like to see, and it's hard because we've been. I guess because at least for me, like, and all of us. I mean, we watch so many different promotions and stuff, so it's almost like I've seen a lot of the matches that I I'd want to see, whether in one promotion or another. But there are two that I came up with, and one of them honestly was gonna happen at WrestleMania, but didn't because of the pandemic. And that'd be Orange Cassidy and Minoru Suzuki.
Oh,
I gotta see that.
Janela Spring Break, yes.
Yeah, I hope they go back to that when things start to open up. I really do. But then another one, like, because I gave this a lot of thought, and I think for me, because I love these teams so much, both of them. I've been a big fan of the Usos ever since they debuted in WWE. So for me, it'd be the Young Bucks versus the Usos, because it seems like we're going to get Young Bucks and Revival. So I'd love to see those two teams mix it up.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a weird one out there. I want to see Coda or not? Do I want to say Coda? No, Sonata. Excuse me. I'm gonna say Sonata versus Hangman Page. I don't know why. I just want to see those two lock up. I think they're like the future of their companies, and I think that would be a really dope match to see.
That would, excuse me. Yeah, that is a good one. I didn't think about that. But when he said Sonata, I was like, oh, what about Sonata and Randy Orton?
That would be good too. I love Sonata. Sonata is like the future to me of New Japan. We've talked.
I'm a big fan too. Before. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sonata.
Here, let me get back to these Twitter ones right now while everybody is in the chat having a laugh, just talking some fantasy matchups. Kyron wants to know, if you do another WWE game, would you consider making original storylines for season mode or bringing back Road to WrestleMania? Bryan, I'll put it to you. We know that the WWE thing's kind of out of reach right now. How about for whatever next title you're working on? How do you feel about original storylines and season mode type stuff, Road to WrestleMania?
When it comes to story modes, like I guess, yeah. I mean, would I like to? Wait, what was the question again? Do I want to like a Road to WrestleMania or?
He said, would you consider making original storylines for a season mode or bring back Road to WrestleMania?
Okay. Original storylines. What I'd like to do, because one of the I've been mentioning how much I love Here Comes the Pain in this podcast, and one of the things that I love so much about that game is its season mode. I fucking loved that season mode. I mean, it didn't have the VO, it just had text on the screen and everything. But you could play that like there wasn't an end to it, and it was just immersive as all hell, and I really dug that style of season mode. So I'd like to whatever we do, if we do end up doing like a season mode or whatever, I definitely want to look at Here Comes the Pain and use that as inspiration for what we do moving forward.
Let's see here. Let's go with Josh next. Josh wants to know, what's the process of acquiring music rights to be used for WWE games? Do you remember anything with that, Bryan, or is that out of your realm too, technically?
Yeah, that's marketing. That's marketing and legal stuff. That wasn't anything that I got involved with. So I don't have a satisfactory answer for you.
My man, Aussie Lutions, BJ. Off Solutions is a blog and podcast. Make sure you check BJ out. I have done an episode with him on Impact Wrestling. He wants to know, are Raw and Raw 2 from Xbox as overrated as they're made out to be? And also, what would you rate them and why? Ooh.
All right, so it's okay. So I never played the first Raw, but when I got hired at THQ, my first job there at THQ was in quality assurance. I was a game tester, and the first game that I was put on was Raw 2. And oh man, I should have thought of that when I was asked what was the worst wrestling game that I played. I would still say Backyard Wrestling 2, but Raw 2 was terrible. I mean, if it was overrated, maybe at the time, I thought that was a terrible, terrible game. Just bad. It had no personality. It was just very mechanical and kind of lifeless. I mean, I know at the time the models looked really good and everything, but I don't know. There was just like a soullessness about that game. They just felt like action figures that are duking out in the ring. And I didn't think the gameplay was very good at all. Talking about season modes, their season mode was almost as bad as 24/7 mode in SBR08.
Trash. You know what? I'll say this. Raw 2 had some good things that you could take from it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like small things that you're like, that was a good idea. That was a good idea.
The best thing that game, the best part of that game was the fact that the creative superstar allowed you to edit gave you full customization of the actual WWE wrestlers. And that was the last game to allow that functionality.
We
That's the
need that
only
back,
good thing
man.
about it. I know. I'm
Who
gonna bring it
cares
back.
if so and so ends up in a tutu? Knock it off. Who cares? You get paid.
It's one of the things on my list.
So B, let me hold on here. Sorry. I think Ghetto's gonna start pushing the tag division in New Japan. I hope so. Goto and Ishii is the best tag team in the world. They just barely team up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ishii's my boy, man.
I love Ishii. That's my dude too.
Malik came back and said, "What's your favorite match of all time?" WWE. And oh wait, before we get to Malik, what would you grade Raw and Raw 2? Or what I don't know, gonna do out of 10, 5 stars.
Okay, because I've never played the first Raw, so I'll just say an incomplete because I don't know. But Raw 2 on a 1 to 10 scale. I'll do grades. I'll do letter grades. I would give it a D.
Solid. Goldberg Mongo. Look it up. That's what I was telling you. What's a D in your mind? Goldberg Mongo Starcade. Favorite match of all time. I don't know if he's asking for WWE and New Japan. Do you have 2 matches that you're like, yo, this is my go-to?
Favorite match. WWE. I'm so terrible at like picking out one thing because I like so many things. It's kind of hard to. I want to keep all my babies, as it were. I'll say for WWE. Such a boring answer, but that first Taker versus HBK.
Can't go wrong, bro.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one not to include in any list of best of matches, whether it's including all promotions. So I'll go with that one. And with New Japan, I would go. Damn, I'd go Prince Devitt versus Pac.
Yes.
Best of the Super Juniors. I saw that live in the building, so that might be influencing this decision. But it was a damn good match. Second to that, oh no! I take it back. Nope. That's runner up. My favorite match I saw in Japan was a 60-minute Broadway, all caps Kenta, that's my dude, versus Marufuji at Budokan Hall for Pro Wrestling Noah. That was the first Japanese wrestling event that I went to. It was me, Justin, and Dan. The 3 of us went, and it was a great show. But that main event was amazing. I got the DVD from that event. My coworker in Japan sent it to me like a year after we went, and I bought a DVD player that plays all DVDs just so I could rewatch that one. So
now is wrestling live in Japan? Like, is it really popular, or is it kind of like a?
So it in 2014, it started to gain in popularity. You know, when Yuke, when we put out the Wrestle Kingdom games, like the early 2000s, like 2005, 2006, like New Japan was not in a good position, and with them being the biggest promotion in Japan, it's almost like, you know, wrestling in Japan, it kind of goes with how New Japan goes, and so they were in a lurch for a long time. But I would say, beginning around maybe 2000, maybe like 2011, 12, you know, when Bushiroad, because we owned, like, Yuke's owned New Japan, and we kept them afloat. And when Bushiroad purchased New Japan from us, which I think was like 11 or 12, I think that happened. That's when you really start to see the promotion kind of gain more in popularity. So it's probably now, since I've been working on the game, New Japan is at its most popular since I've been, you know, working on the franchise, the WWE franchise. But it's still a niche form of entertainment, just like here. You know, it's not like it's more popular than it was, but still not anywhere. It's not like a mainstream type thing, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense what you're saying. Malik, for me, I'll go Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. Favorite New Japan match? I'm going to have to say it's Kenny Omega, Okada. I'm not going to go where Omega wins. I'm going to go with the first one that I saw, Wrestle Kingdom. I hope it's 11. I think I'm thinking of the right one. Wrestle Kingdom 11. Yeah. That was just a freaking shit. I was just watching it like, damn, bro, that's wrestling right there. Like,
you know, I picked that one too. Like, if of their matches of Omega and Okada, like, I would always go back to that first one, because if for no other reason, then I remember watching it the day after it occurred, I'm watching it with my girl, and she's doing her thing, but I've got it on and I'm watching it. And by the midway point, she completely stopped what she was doing, and she was just transfixed on the match. Like, what the fuck? These guys are killing each other. So the fact that it got her away from what she was doing, because she didn't give a shit about wrestling, but she got drawn in, and I think just off the strength of that, I mean, that's an achievement in and of itself if you know her.
Lance says, I'm surprised there hasn't been a full New Japan Pro Wrestling game for this console gen. I don't know why either for that. I mean, they're in Fire Pro, which is a good base for them to be in. I'm not mad at it. I remember when one of my first like popular YouTube videos was when they were going to announce that video game. That was my prediction, but I did not think it would be Fire Pro and them teaming up. That was dope, though, I thought.
Yeah, I've asked this too about, with my coworkers like years ago about like, why did you guys stop with Wrestle Kingdom 2? I mean, it's such a great game, and it just boiled down to sales. Like, it didn't sell very well at the time of its release, because again, like when this came out, like New Japan just wasn't as hot, anywhere near as hot as it is now.
Recover from that Enochiism, bro. When he did that, messed shit up. Like, I think it hurt Nakamura in the long run because that was who his guy was. Like,
I know. I think a New Japan game, if one was being developed now, I mean, I think it would sell in Japan, and I think it would definitely sell in the States.
Yeah, listen, their shit is hot, bro. When they had who was it? Okada was in what was it, the Yakuza game? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, there was somebody in one of those Yakuza games. I don't know if it was Okada, but I do remember hearing that one of was maybe it Suzuki?
Maybe it was Tanahashi. There was a couple of them. They've been appearing in other games, man.
Yeah.
Cam, I'm sorry, I just saw this. Yeah, Xbox Raw Series was kind of ass. I remember you went back and bought them like after to play them. Yeah, that's all right though. You gotta play them to talk the shit, right?
Well said.
Let me see here. Yeah, we're not gonna do top 5 worst wrestling games. You guys know. We talked about 08 enough. We talked about 08 enough. You can go back and look at those Nintendo ones. We know. But good question. Who put that up? Rob. Thank you, Rob. Rob came through. He said Okada, Tanahashi, and Naito were all in Yakuza.
All right, Naito. Okay.
Here we go. Let's get to Mag's question here, and then we got one more after this, Brian. He said, I cannot sing the praise of you and Brian enough for the series. Thank you, Mags. It's been your magnum opus. In terms of questions, it would be interesting to hear Brian's opinions on the pressure of meeting a yearly deadline for these kind of games and the shortcuts and cutting corners needed.
Okay, yeah, it's a good one. It's tough. It's very difficult, and it's one of those things that I kind of feel like a kinship to any developer or development studio that has to put out anything on an annual basis, because there are so many concessions that need to be made to get the game on the store shelves, that I know from having done it myself that, when people, whether the game is good, bad, indifferent, like the things that people will complain about are by and large the same things that the devs are fully aware of and would try to get ironed out. But at a certain point, the game is taken out of our hands, and it's just like, okay, no more changes, no more anything. We just got to get this thing submitted. We got to get this thing done. So there is a lot of stress. And I think for me, because I started at such a young age, and I was just so kind of gung-ho and geared up to have the job that I did, I dealt with it really well for, I would say, like the first 6 years. But, by the time, maybe around like WWE 12 or even 13, like I really did start to kind of get a sense of a lot of the stress and pressure was mounting, because, you're never given any, it's just constant paddling, in a sea, and you never reach land. It's just constant paddling and occasional big ass waves that come at you. So it can be very difficult, but it's one of those things where you just have to really find that balance between your life and the job, because you're going to work long weeks, long days, but you've got to pace yourself in a certain way. And that's one thing that I've learned. And I, like, towards the end of our run, like, I really, learned that. It's like, look, when I'm in Japan, I'm at the office working 9 till midnight every day, 6 days a week. The only day we had off was Sunday. But I was never there later than 12, even though my coworkers were. Like, these guys in Japan were crazy hours, dude. But I was like, no, it's midnight. I gotta go home. This work is gonna be here tomorrow, and I'll tackle it then. You know what I mean? But I'm hungry. I gotta get a beer. I gotta relax. So you just gotta find that balance. But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, as stressful as it is, it's like you really need to have a passion for what it is you're doing. I have a passion for wrestling. I fucking love it, and I love making wrestling video games. So for me, the passion, the enjoyment that I get out of it supersedes any kind of stress.
Good answer for that, Bryan. I'm going to go through these last two in the chat here, and then I'm going to ask the final questions. Truly Ace, which Kenny Omega Jericho match was your favorite? The New Japan or AEW match?
The New Japan.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just better the first time. I think Jericho was moving a little bit better, and he could do some different things when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I'm plugging in my phone. My battery's about to die.
No, you're good, brother. Malik wants to know top 5 favorite WWE themes.
Oh, geez. CM Punk's original. CM Punk's The Cult of Personality. Actually, I'll take that one out because that's not strictly. Well, neither of his is original. No, I'll put both of his themes in.
Okay.
Who else? Drew McIntyre's original theme. That's an easy one. What is that? 3?
Yeah, that's 3. That's a good weightlifting theme.
Yeah, and I love Randy Orton's theme. And shit.
Wait, which theme? Are you a Burning in the Light kind of guy, or are you Voices?
I like them both, but I'm gonna go with Voices on this pick.
Okay.
Damn, what's my last? I mean, they. Oh, shit! Why am I just thinking Raw and SmackDown? Fuck, man. Io Shirai, her music fucking knocks, man.
I love that song. When they remixed hers, I was like, that's a good theme right there. I know some people are like hating Seth's new theme and Johnny Gargano's new one.
So I haven't seen NXT yet from last week's, but I did hear that he's got new interest music. I got to check that out.
Yeah. Six said he's still
Gangrel's theme. Yes. Okay.
Where's Derek? Me and Derek still does the bop. Derek was the biggest Brood fan when we were in elementary school. I'm like, bro, nobody likes the Brood. Like, yo, I'm telling you, Edge's gonna be the world champ one day. Never forget in 06. Yo, I watched wrestling. Edge finally did it, bro. And I was like, get out of here. It's so funny how wrestling can bring you back in. Like, he didn't watch for years. He was like, yo, I heard Edge finally did it, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take out Orton's theme and replace it with Gangrel.
Yeah, Nakamura's on mine too. I love Nakamura's theme. I just put Cody Rhodes' My Kingdom. There's something about that song that I just feel it, bro. Maybe it's the pyro when he comes out too. That's just too much for me, but I just love that theme. I don't know why. When he went to New Japan and he just had it, it was like wrestling has more than one royal fan. I was like, Cody taking the damn throne. Like, I just felt that same, like, dude, I should be the man. Like, let me be the man. They're like, you're too young. I was getting that at work at the same time. Like, you got to wait your time. I'm like, wait my time. My time is now, bro. Like, I want to enjoy the money now. Like, what's wrong?
That's a good one. Yeah, I love his theme too. Like, when I hear it, it's got a certain gravitas to it. Like, sometimes I get goosebumps. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, that's my pinky rep when I call it. When you're lifting the weight and you get one more, I'm like, put Cody on right now. I got do the work.
Do the work.
Sick said, I really wish AEW and New Japan would work together. Dude, who you telling, bro?
And you may get your wish. I mean, it may be in everybody's best interest. Like, when events start running again, to kind of get stuff kickstarted, get some energy, some excitement. It might be a good idea if they did.
PR Nightmare. Let me see what he came up with real quick. He said Kane, Slow Chemical, Benoit, whatever, Sheamus, too many lives, Edge, never gonna stop, and Taker, you're gonna pay. Yeah, Taker's Dead Man Walking was my shit too. When he came out, I heard him on that bike. I was like, yeah, someone's about to get their ass whooped by Booger Red.
I was never a big fan of that Taker thing.
Oh, dude, I loved it. Y'all gonna pay? I just remember it like, yo, someone's about to get. When he drug Hogan on that bike, that was the shit. What are you doing, brother? What's it look like I'm doing? Let's hear. Last group of questions, Bryan, for you. This comes from XGW Fed, and I put these together for it. So, Bryan, what do you feel is next for wrestling video games?
What do I feel is next? Geez, I mean, good one.
What's the next wave? Do you think? Like wrestling video games have been through so much. What do they need next?
I think what they need. Okay, now that I've got, I think what they need is to abandon the yearly requirement. I don't think that a wrestling game needs to be released annually. And it seems like most games. For me, I would, and we've talked about this, I think, before. I'm sure we have, where I think the games need to be treated like a live op, similar to like a mobile game where you put out the base game and you just support the hell out of it. Can you see me? Am I still on?
Yeah, no, you're still on. I'm listening.
Okay. And you just support it with frequent updates, bug fixes, patches, new content, new modes, basically pretty much like what Virtual Basement seems to be their what they're doing. And so I think that's the right route to take. Take away the stress of having to put something out every year, because I just think, and honestly, I think in the long term, there's probably more money to be had, more profits to be had by just supporting the one base game for 3 or 4 years and then put out, maybe a sequel or something like that. So I'd like to see the games go that route. It's something that I'd like to pitch, or I will be pitching for us.
Yeah, I definitely will agree with that. I just think that we want more out of these games, and people, I think Fire Pro has shown me that people are willing to pay. Like, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's going to be an update to Fire Pro for moves. I follow the main guy who works on the game. I don't know if he's the owner of it or whatever, but I saw there's a creative move thing getting put in now. People are like, yo, how much, bro? How much? I'm ready for this. We need this for this game. And I really just think that that's something that's necessary. And it to me, it's worked for Fire Pro. It's worked wonders. I'm playing it still, and I bought this game 2 years ago. And I'm hoping when the new systems come out that I can play this game on it, because I still want to play Fire Pro.
I absolutely agree. I guess they were the first to really do it. I mean, they've been supporting Fire Pro with brand new content ever since that thing came out, and good content. You know what I mean? From, of course, the New Japan stuff was kicked it off, but getting the best of the juniors, that pack in there, and the story mode to go along with it. The GM mode that they added, the Fire Promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they also include Stardom? That promotion?
Yeah, Stardom. We had 2 Stardom DLC packs. The Parts Craft gave this game new life. All your old creations, bro. I want to wipe my entire system of them and start downloading new people, because I'm like, these look so much better now, and it looks more designed and dude, I just saw a Vader that had the Vader shit when he used to come out with the mask and shit. I'm like, yo, how did you make that, bro? He's like, oh, I can't tell you all that, bro, but it was dope. He's like, I ported it from PC, so. It looks good, man. That's all I can say for that. Bryan, what's the biggest thing we can expect from Yuke's next project?
A damn quality wrestling game. That's it. Yuke's off the chain. Yuke's, doing her own creative, not being hampered or handcuffed or anything. It'll just be us, back in the day, when they were putting out, the Here Comes the Pains and SBR 06, it's going to be us leading the way creatively, and we've got some great tech, and the fact that we'll be, whatever we do, it'll be a brand new engine. But with that said, I can't say too much about what my guy in Japan told me, when I emailed him about the Havoc and SBR 11. But I'll just say this, that as much as people enjoyed that in that game, I know it's an old engine, but that old engine has some tricks up its sleeve, and accounted for a vast majority of the things that were made possible in that game, as it relates to the weapon physics and everything like that. So, yeah. I don't know if I answered that. What was the question again?
No. I just said, what was the next thing? You answered already.
Okay.
Next thing that we can expect from the project. I'm just trying to read what Sick wrote here. He said, is there a timeline on that wrestling game, my brother? Not trying to rush, just curious.
Unfortunately, can't really, I can't get into specifics of anything, but just know that as much as you guys want to hear news and to get this thing going, I do too. So the first time that I'm able to divulge any information, I'm going to do it on Brother Cush's EPW show. So best believe that. But we're doing what we can, man. It's something that I've had to learn, you know, in this, you know, not kind of like a new role that I have, where it's like, you know, trying to get a new project off the ground. It takes a lot longer than I thought it would, you know. But I think that we should be announcing something relatively soon. That's all I can say.
Yuke's Off the Chain sounds like a dope indie wrestling game. It reminds me of Bobby Roode. And last question, Bryan, what do you think is the biggest change needed for wrestling video games? Like what's needed to make these games better? Is it something from the fans that you need? Is it something from the developers? Is it a program that needs to change?
I think for me it's a mindset. I think that whoever's developing anything, you know, I think it's something that maybe the guys at 2K would be wise to take heed of, is that know what it is you're making. You know what I mean? Pro wrestling is, yes, it involves real people doing real things in a ring, but this is fiction. And I would implore anybody to lean into the fiction of things and prioritize what is fun versus trying to get everything so realistic and sim-like. You know, it's pro wrestling, you know, larger than life characters. You know, you want to have sim aspects, go for it, but nothing should get in the way of the fun and of the energy and of the over-the-topness that pro wrestling affords, you know, because I don't think that's what the fans want. I don't watch pro wrestling and I'm thinking about, oh, well, he's got to be too winded. That's maybe not a good analogy, but I go into it for the fun of it. I know that this is the predetermined outcome. Don't give a shit. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's hard hitting. I love it. You know, and I think, you know, if you're developing a wrestling game, know what it is you're making and know what it is. Understand why people are fans of this thing. You know, this isn't, you know, NBA 2K. This isn't a football game. You're not dealing with real life stats that affect people's on-field performance. You're dealing with fictional characters in a fictional wrestling world. Lean into that shit, you know?
I respect it. Bryan, that's it, man. We went through 7 parts.
I got one more left. Oh, my boy Roman. He just wanted me to list my my top 5 wrestlers currently and of all time.
Okay.
So Roman, sorry, man, I couldn't do 5 for my current, but I have Roderick Strong. I love Roddy Strong. Chris Hero, ECE, Orange Cassidy, the Juice, man. The Juice. I love Orange Cassidy. Ricochet, Phoenix, Pentagon, and Asuka. I think Asuka I'm glad she's a champ again. I think Asuka she's my favorite female talent and has been for a long time.
Yeah, when you said Juice, bro, I thought you were talking Juice Robinson.
Oh, no.
I heard that for a second. I was like, wait, what?
I could tell. Yeah, that was a faux pas of Masi. I could see how you would get to that conclusion. But no, Orange Cassidy, I love Orange.
That's why I stay quiet, because I'm like, let me wait for the conclusion. Maybe he's talking about Orange.
Oh, I also have David Starr. If you haven't seen his matches, he's really dope. Pac, and I said Phoenix. And then, so yeah, more than 5, sorry. And then my top 5 of all time, I got The Rock. I got Piper. And now I'm putting Kenta on here, even though I know he's still wrestling, all caps Kenta. But this is Kenta before pre-WWE.
Thank God.
I'm specifying that. Steve Austin. And then for my last one, like, I was really giving this a lot of thought. And like, he's a guy that is still active now, but I've always been a fan. But within the past 2 years, I've gained a whole other level of respect for. And that's Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm. He's been climbing up the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling to me. Like, he's getting up there where I'm like, We did I think you were on that one. I don't remember if on Malik Shannon we did the top 10 and Jericho was like 9. And I was like, yo, I think he's climbed a couple since this AEW kicked off, man.
He really has, man. Like, honestly, I mean, we've been watching Jericho for a lot of years now. This is my favorite version of him.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I wanted to be there just so I learned the words to Judas so I didn't look stupid in the crowd when everybody was singing. I'm like, yo, hold on. I got to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Bryan, this has been so much fun, dude. Honestly. Man. And I'm going to take a second to show you some love with all of this. I will say this on record as a longtime wrestling video game fan of probably before I even really could speak properly. Bryan, I think you are the number one person to make a wrestling video game. If you are making one and you are not seeking this man out, you are making a big mistake. I would pay top dollar. I'm not joking. Top dollar to have Bryan Williams on my team. And I'm not saying that because he did the show for me. I would have said this before. I'd have said this after. I would have said it if he told me to F off. This dude is still the top person I want making a video game for me. He is the guy I want talking to me about a video game. So Yuke, whatever project you're working on or whoever's involved, let this dude talk to the people. He doesn't have to do it all the time. I get it. He's more valuable in the studio. I get that. But if someone has to go out and do some PR once in a while, let the brother go out and speak. He speaks properly. He knows how to talk to fans, and he knows how to put a smile on our face with some, insider terms, wrestling move usage. Bryan, you are the man. So I wish you nothing but the best in whatever you do. And I'm glad that we got to do this, man. This was really fun.
Conrad, brother, thank you, man. That was I'm seriously, that's way too much praise for me. I'm just a guy who was right place, right time, and was able to have the career that I had. So and so just thank you to you, man. Thank you for allowing me to do this during this pandemic while I've been stuck in the house. Like I said, I've been looking forward every Tuesday to talking with you and answering everybody's questions. Everybody who tunes in, like, thank you. This has just been really fun. And buy some merch, buy some EPW merch, and get that Manscaped, son.
Description below. Manscaped's always here for you. You need to bust it out. Get the clipping, dog. Get the clipping.
I think you might have sold me when you showed me that bag. That carry-all bag looked really nice, man. I'm like, maybe I will use my promo code.
Take it to Japan, little.
Yeah.
Hey, you're good to go, man. Bryan, this series has been amazing. It's been fun. And everybody's singing your praises in the chat too. I don't know if you can see all of them. I put some of them up before.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody. Yo, Bryan, real life question: chicken sandwich, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A?
Popeyes.
I'm saying Chick-fil-A.
Popeyes.
Popeyes had my stomach in a knot after the gym. I was hurting yesterday. I took some pre-workout. I was like, I made a big mistake. Let me get through these reps.
I like Chick-fil-A, but man, when it comes to chicken, man, I can never not, get my hands on some Popeyes if that's an option.
Malik said, great series between you two. Hope to have you both on the podcast again like we did before. Malik, I'm always down. Just hit me up with the time, bro, and I can see what we could work out.
Yeah, I would definitely like to do something where, you were talking about that game that you were playing with the entrance themes. That sounds like fun.
Still waiting on the EPW chokeout Jesus shirt. We'll send that to Rob. We'll get that working. Jesus, we need your likeness. But B, this has been wonderful, bro. I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much. We will be back next week, and I think next week we'll have an AEW preview for Double or Nothing. We found out 3 competitors for the ladder match. I'm looking forward to it. It's actually the match I'm probably most looking forward to right now, depending on the other names that get announced.
Yeah, me too.
Double or Nothing's looking really dope. We'll be back tomorrow, though, with a review of AEW Dynamite. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out the channel. With that, for Conrad Cushman, Bryan, we are out.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Conrad.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.